feel like I've been doing this a while.
something. Hi.
I think it's a no hat day.
No hat day?
Yeah.
Are you gonna bless everybody with your wondrous hair?
I think everybody gets the swoosh.
They need that. Oh, there you go. They need. Yeah, you gotta hold your head at just the right angle so that they get the full effect.
The problem is my hair is black, so if my hair was doing that, you would never be able to tell.
Blends in with the wall a little bit.
Grrr.
I just growled at him.
I growled back.
I just growled at him.
This is how our days work. He growls at me, I growl back.
What's going on, everybody? I saw Tim lurking in Miniac's chat,
Good
I believe.
day, party people.
Wad.
Good day,
I
party
was bouncing
people.
around from stream to stream before this stream. Spent some time with good old Marco Frazzoni.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Miniac Scott.
Scott was streaming today?
Yep. Yep. Ah, the hair! It's so good, right?
It's so good.
Look at this. Can't beat that with a stick. I mean, you could, but it would hurt me. Please don't.
I wouldn't beat that with a stick.
What's going on, T-Schmidt? Morning Tide, what's going on? He says, good day, party people. You're in the wrong place.
How are all of you fancy party people? I know how we are. We're just having a day.
A day?
Just another day.
You've got the juice.
Another day in
In
paradise?
fact, a Tuesday in paradise.
But do you have the juiced version of the Bronco?
We just talked about that at lunch.
What?
Like how Ford really missed an opportunity to make a juiced version of their Bronco.
Yeah.
Doesn't go over 50 miles an hour. It's the special feature.
Comes with a random dude in the backseat.
Yeah. $100,000. Easy.
Comes with a high-paid attorney.
Yeah.
To get you out of trouble?
Turns that attorney's family into the worst people on television. I could go on. Don't get me started.
Oh,
what's
this is a
happening?
reference I don't understand.
War Squirtle!
What?
I feel like this is a reference I don't understand.
OJ, it was before he was born, I think. When were you born?
93?
Oh, no, it was after. You were only like 2. The OJ Simpson.
Trial?
Yeah. It's the low-speed chase.
We gotta stop hiring these children.
You hire a lot of them. I'm not one of the youngest.
We need to educate them about these historical times, these major world events.
You've never seen Juice?
World/pop culture.
It's a 90 gangsters
events.
movie starring Tupac.
I mean, I'm familiar with like the whole if the glove fits thing.
Uh-huh.
That I'm familiar with.
Do you know about the low-speed chase?
No.
In the Bronco?
No.
That's like the best part of it.
Tell me about the low-speed chase in the Bronco.
So it was like the day after, I think, they found... he killed his wife and her boyfriend.
Allegedly.
Oh, allegedly. That's what they say.
You know he killed his wife and her boyfriend. His ex-wife and her boyfriend. So it was like the day after they found them.
He has no money. He'll come after us for like some sort of defamation suit. Allegedly.
OJ ain't watching our Twitch stream. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. I don't think he knows anything about miniatures. And he so it was everybody wanted to talk to him. We just want to talk to you, Juice. We just want to talk to you. Just want to talk to you. And calls his best friend. His best friend comes, or maybe his best friend was already with him. And best friend is driving white Ford Bronco.
Very slow.
OJ on the freeway in Los Angeles. OJ's laying down in the back.
Yep.
They're on the phone.
Oh, that's right. His buddy was driving.
Yeah. AC was driving. And I remember exactly like watching this on TV.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was literally going 0 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was just really slow, and all these cop cars following him, and they're talking to him. They're like, "Juice, just come on, just Juice. We just want to talk to you." And yeah. And eventually, I think obviously he talked to them.
That's really funny.
It's something.
So we were talking about at lunch today how they've redone the Ford Bronco, and they're very difficult to get because they don't have very many. so they're super expensive.
And they price gouge you.
Yeah, and so we were talking about how they missed an opportunity to release like a special package, the juiced version.
Which
Of
is
the
incredibly
Bronco.
slow.
Yeah, just go slow. And it only comes in white.
That's pretty funny.
The glove did not fit. I
Must
mean, if it
acquit.
does not fit, you must acquit.
Johnny Cochran.
So did he ever get convicted of that?
No.
No.
Okay.
He did in the
Yeah, his
other trial.
later. Well, they did a civil trial
Civil
or a
trial he
civil
lost.
suit, but I don't think they ever got any money from that. But he did go to jail because he stole his memorabilia.
he eBayed off a lot of his memorabilia, and then he went and stole it from the people that he
Yeah.
that bought it
Wait,
from.
what?
Yeah,
He went to like a
In
Las Vegas hotel
Vegas.
room or something.
yeah, yeah.
Of
Like
all the things,
kidnapped him, like had kidnapping charges because he held him in this hotel room, and
what is wrong with people?
He's an
a
idiot.
lot.
I mean, aside from the fact that he allegedly killed his ex-wife and
Her new man.
her new man, his ex-wife and his ex-wife's lover,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Monument Hobbies would like to maintain the position of never interacting with O.J. Simpson
I think that's a good
or
call.
his counsel. So we're gonna stick with allegedly.
Yeah, they were. They were waiting for him to commit any kind of crime so they could put him in jail. The jury's like, yeah, not again, pal.
Like we just did this. Why are we here again?
No, I mean, it was like
Years and years later.
15 years later, maybe?
Yeah, over a decade later.
okay.
Because
Yeah.
his whole career was shot after that,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah, he didn't
so
do anything for a long time.
He better have had money in savings. Because the world shunned him.
Oh yeah.
That is where we got the Kardashians. Yeah, that's what Jason was alluding to. when he
It was
talked
like-
about the lawyer whose family is the most despicable people on television.
They really are.
Who?
The Kardashians.
Oh sure. Yeah.
Robert Kardashian was one of.
I mean, I
OJ's
already lived through
lawyers.
Paris Hilton. I didn't feel like I was, like, deserved it. I haven't done anything wrong enough in my life to have to live through another group of these people.
I mean, we got to witness the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial loud and clear, ringing from every freaking orifice of the internet everywhere.
And you know what? I
What?
didn't pay any attention to that
Yeah.
at all. The only stuff I knew was what Brendan would tell me because he would sit and watch it all day.
There was some entertaining bits of it that
yeah.
I saw clips of.
He was very entertained by it.
I just saw the memes of her talking about being stung by a bee or something. I don't remember what it was.
I mean, yeah, she's
Or dog or something. I don't know.
she's not particularly eloquent when it comes to communicating. Also, her lawyer is hilarious.
Her lawyer was a beast. They have a like a synopsis of it on Netflix. Maybe I'll watch that.
Oh yeah, I forgot they
I might
did
watch
a
that.
yeah
Since
yeah.
I kind of missed that whole thing.
I mean, it was a lot of it was definitely just like really boring.
Yeah, that's why I feel like the Netflix version is probably the way to go.
I'm curious whose perspective they how neutral they are or how pro one side or the other. The Netflix special is or whatever. I'm very curious. I don't really want to watch it, so if you watch it, let me know.
I'll let you know.
I'm just
I've got
curious.
to unwrap more brush tubes, so I'll have some time to kill. That court taught me what metadata meant. The paint liquor.
Hi, Paint Liquor.
How's everybody's Tuesday going?
Paint Liquor says, "Hi, baby J.
Mine
Just
is
ordered 3
going
minis and a Sable set. Arctic Mini Painting Studio. Awesome.
nice.
Which 3 minis did you get?
It's a good haul.
From us or from a different store?
I hope us.
No, I meant the like one of our stores that sells minis.
Oh, got it.
I assume if you're talking about buying a Sable set, you're talking about ours. But I don't know if you meant you bought them from us directly or if you bought them from one of our FLGS partners.
I kind of assumed it was directly.
Second Monday, Paint Liquor? Bummer. Sorry.
All right, you're almost at hump day. Hump day, and then who knows?
Then Friday Eve.
Friday's Eve. Yeah, there you
I have to admit that even though I was not in like the best of sorts at the end of the day yesterday, we Jordan and myself and Jabe and Jacob sat around and did some play testing. I ran Gabe and Jordan through the game we're developing.
go. Mm-hmm.
Jordan had never had time to put
Play.
hands on it
Yeah.
because last time we were alpha testing was when you came down to visit to see whether or not you wanted to work here.
Yeah.
Right. And so we didn't have time to get a game in. But what'd you think? Tell the people.
It sucks. No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
there you go.
It's actually really great.
Jordan's fired.
Yeah.
Turn the stream off.
Turn the
Fade to
stream
black.
off. Get him out of here.
Exit
Where
stage
were
right.
you on Jordan's last day?
Bring in the new guy. Next.
No, it's really good. I'm really excited to work on it some more and get it to a point where it can be consumed by those who are not internal.
It energized me to see you guys' reaction. Gabe, now that he has more exposure to the type of scenarios that are indicative of the game.
Yeah.
And you as a first timer,
First time to that game for sure. Yeah.
Cascaboom, we absolutely make metallic paints.
We make the best.
We've got 9 metal. Oh no, 10 now.
We do have 10
9 of them come in one set, and then there's one in our newest signature set. Arctic Mini Painting got the Morrigan, Morgana Le Fay, and Hair of the Moon. Good choices.
Nice. Hair of the Moon's really good too. I like that model.
Zoe and Sean's dad said, "Thanks to your paint, my nids are looking phenomenal."
Hey, there you go.
I like it.
Are they some of the new stuff that they've released recently? Or some old school stuff you had lying around? Because the new stuff's really cool.
Cascaboom said, "I'll have to looking to throw these army paints in the trash." Maybe you'll donate them to like a school if
You
you're
don't
going to
throw
throw
away.
them
Give
away.
them to another person that you know you would think would like to paint.
I was going to say give them to someone you don't like, but that's
What's
not
that?
No, I was
Give
going to
'em
say
to
give them to
somebody you
someone you
don't
don't like, but that's not very nice. But like a school, local school that might have a miniature
Yeah.
painting club or an art class that could use
Those
them.
are definitely a lot more prevalent than I was expecting them to be honest.
For a lot of your local stores, depending on if you have a
Yeah.
favorite local store, just being able to put paints in a bin so that people that come in can have paints to use. Obviously, we enjoy people having Pro Acryl, but we like people painting more.
I mean, people painting naturally brings them to us.
That's our job.
Because they get to find out that our paints are awesome. And they get to enjoy them for the first time.
Just explaining today, right? That's our goal. The onus is on us to make the best products. We just want to get people directed towards them by enjoying painting in general as they ply their way through the painting world, they will ultimately find the best products.
Bob, I don't understand. Did you order something from us and you put a note with special instructions? None of us in here know what that would be because we don't see it.
That's the other guys.
That's the other guys. But I could check up on them
It's
and
so
make sure
weird
they
to
do
say
it.
that. Like,
How
had
will
to
I
tell
know unless
somebody
you tell
yesterday that I what? Oh no, we were talking about like checking brushes. I haven't checked brushes in forever.
me? Oh yeah, Jason doesn't check brushes
I haven't
in a
sent
long
an order out. Like, they don't even let me over
No.
there to count stuff
No.
for orders. Like, if,
No,
if we were in
no.
an emergency, I am not your boy. Keep the Jason away from fulfillment.
That's funny. Keep the Jason away from fulfillment.
It's literally in the company bylaws.
It's written into the company bylaws.
Hellfire 401 said you guys should make an electric salmon paint. People will be lined up for it.
It is a color on the list.
Well,
It won't be called
huzzah,
eclectic
huzzah.
salmon,
I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my
I'm
britches
just the
with
talent. Exactly. It's just the talent.
What's that? What'd you say,
Airborne
Jen?
said, "I'm just the talent." That's you guys.
Oh yeah,
You're just the talent.
just the town.
I definitely do a lot more than just talent related things.
It's funny that there was a comment on one of our Facebook posts where somebody was talking about me in particular, and another person came in and goes, he's just the face of the company. He doesn't own it. He just works there.
Oh, who
What?
said that?
And it not in a rude way.
But where? What
I
did
don't
this-
know. It was just on a random post on one of our Facebook posts. And so we came in and we were like, he's the founder. The one in the unicorn suit actually owns the joint. And the person was like, really? But that speaks volumes to how we treat this thing, man. We're just painters. Just painters like you guys.
Jador, Deathwalker. I
Yep.
need a new book to read, and I think that he wants to know your picks.
A new book.
A new book.
Malazan Book of the Fallen.
What does he ask?
Up here.
You need a new book to read? Go. Oh man. So I'm struggling right now with book. What did you read last? And have I recommended things to you before?
Yeah, that's a good question. Figuring out what kind of stuff you like is.
I'm struggling
is
because
so
I'm
important.
finishing up the school series of Dune, and I have been for a long time. They're long books. They start off on a really good foot with Sisterhood of Dune, then Mentats, and then Navigators, right? And unfortunately, the last book, Navigators, is no bueno. It's so hard. It makes me remember every time I get to this point why I don't read this series very often. And I love Kevin J. Anderson and Herbert Jr., but all of their parts of the Dune series are fantastic, except this one. That's a tough one, but it is kind of I don't know if you need to read it if you're into Dune, but it fills in a lot of those gaps. But it does it in a way like you already know what's coming. So, if you've read Dune, you already know everything they're going. There is no twist in these books. It just gets you where you know you're going. But it's kind of a shame. So I myself am hoping to dive into some of my other books. Depending on what you like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Tim says, "Don't ask me. I'll suggest some 40K lore. I read other things. Lummox, what's going on? I read other things. Read
do.
Treasure Island. There you go. Ghost says, I just finished Dune. Was great, but I needed a break after I finished it. Yeah, it's a big read. Elric, yeah, Song of the Black Sword or whatever it's called. Elric of Melniboné, Michael Moorcock stuff. It's really good. It is very trippy. It's where Warhammer got the idea of chaos. It's from the Moorcock books.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Their version of chaos is basically ripped straight from Moorcock and Elric. But the Elric books are good. Again, hard reads. The stuff. What have I really enjoyed lately? I don't have my phone, so I can't look through my Audible account. Trying to think of what I've really enjoyed. I'm gonna go get my phone.
I have a suggestion while you're doing that.
Don't listen to anything Jordan says about books.
Come on. I wasn't going to suggest the one he was thinking of. But if you haven't read the Dresden Files, I highly recommend it. It's really good. They're shorter books. You'll read through them quick. There are a lot of them. So if you end up loving it, there's plenty for you to dive into.
Dresden's pretty good.
Yeah.
Captain Underpants.
They're super easy reads. They're like maybe 300 pages each, right? Like they're super short, 300 or 400.
Yeah, the
pages.
Dresden Files are easy reads. They're pretty good. Let's see. Speak of the devil, I have the first Elric book coming up. Oh, the Endymion series are really good, right? But it doesn't start with Endymion. It starts with Hyperion.
Did you see this one that a few months back you spent like an hour talking about Seven Sons?
Yeah,
I'm a sci-fi fan.
yeah. Did you read it? Did you read the Saga of the Seven Sons? One of my favorite series ever. It's a long read. So again, you got to pace yourself, right? Red Rising, Babylon 5 sci-fi fan. Yeah, the Saga of the Seven Sons, I always point people that way. It's great. But the Hyperion series is really good. It's Hyperion. Oh, no, don't download. But download. Are you sure you want to? Yes, I've already read the book a million times. And then the second one is called Endymion. Right? And then I'm going back and listening to it, but then Endymion Rising, I think. Something like that. I don't remember.
Oh, have you read the Expanse books?
The Expanse books are good.
Yeah.
They're really good. Let's see. Ember War is good. Blah, 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 blah.
Omicron.
All the Joe Abercrombie stuff are really good.
That's all fantasy though, right?
Yeah, it's all fantasy.
Yeah.
Omicron, we in the morning are Jason and I
All the Hugh Howey stuff is good.
are in meetings from 9 till 11.
Classic. The Moat and God's Eye. Read it. Great
And
book.
then the stream is at noon.
That's all the stuff I have on here. Trying to remember what the last good sci-fi stuff that I read was.
But
Blade of
I don't know
Heaven
about
is really
Jordan.
good. The Hyperion series is really good. I would definitely recommend Hyperion. I don't know. Oh, the Alistair Reynolds stuff too. If you don't know him as an author, Alistair Reynolds, very very good. So let's. Oh, I have not started on here. No wonder. Oh, the Fall of Hyperion is the second one, not Endymion. There's a lot of 40K, a lot of Horus Heresy here. A lot of Horus Heresy. This book I picked up, the Judge Dredd Year 1, is really good if you like Judge Dredd. It's good storytelling. It's his, like, young years, like Batman Year 2.
It wasn't finished.
No, because it's a lot of small stories.
Oh.
So I'm
you
just
can
to
go
the
back to
point
it
where one
anytime you
ended
need
and
a
I
little
was tired
quick
of
one.
listening to Judge Dredd, so I went on to something else. A while back, all of the Alien ones that never got made into movies and stuff were free on Audible, so I got those.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they were really good. Well, some of them are good.
I didn't realize that there were novels written about it.
Yeah, a lot of, like, novella kind of stuff. The Library at Mount Char is a really, really good book. I reached out to Scott Hawkins to do some writing for us, and he's interested, so he may do some writing for our game. It's a very good book. He's not he doesn't have a lot of books. I think this is like one of maybe only 2 he's written. It's actually very good. I don't know how to describe it. It's very present day, weird, trippy sci-fi. What else? If you want funny stuff, number 1 in customer service by Larry Correia is really funny. I feel like Heinlein. Moon is a harsh mistress. Always a good read. And then 50,000 more. Oh, there's all of the Dark Tower series.
Is that worth reading?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Dark Tower is a fantastic series. Absolutely worth reading.
I've definitely been interested in it, but I haven't ever started it. And I also need a new series to read.
Son of the Black Sword, Larry Correia again. I really like his writing. There's one though that I'm looking for more Alistair Reynolds because I could point you in the direction of a really good. Can I search? Reynolds. There we go. Revelation Space. I recommend highly. Revelation Space, very good. Alistair Reynolds, Galactic North, very good. Chasm City, very good. If you like sci-fi, like hard sci-fi, Alistair Reynolds is a great hard sci-fi writer, and I've spoken about him before because the neat thing is that the universe that he creates is not like you buy a book and then another book is a sequel directly to it, but it ties in. They're all done in the same universe. But not in a sense of like mentioning characters. It's just they mention locations that you've heard of in the other books in a totally tangential manner, not directly related. And so one of them might be like a pulp detective novel in space that's really good, and the next one might be some weird, far-reaching, time-traveling weirdness, but they all tie in by being in part of the same universe, even though the characters, you can't ever imagine the characters interacting, you know? So it has a very cool feel, almost like, I want to say like a real world feel to it, in that, you know, all the things happening all over the globe right now are in the same universe as us sitting here painting miniatures, you know, and the story could be told about how they take place in the same universe, but they really have no tie-in other than that. So it's cool. Revelation Space, because Free League Publishing suggested it for getting the feel of their Coriolis TTRPG. Chuck the Mead Man. It's a really good one. Yeah, the Into the Aquila Rift was Alistair Reynolds, I believe. Clarkatron. Remember that one? The Dark Tower movie doesn't deserve a place in our conversation. The book's tremendous. Aliens 3 novel was much better than the movie. Well, the third Alien book is much different. It wasn't called Alien 3. It was called Shadows of... I don't remember what it was. But yes, totally different story, and would have made in my opinion, would have made the better movie to tell, right? With what happened to Ripley after the Nostromo and Aliens 2.
I've only seen the first 2. Not seen anything else.
Yeah, Reynolds is amazing stuff. I don't know how underrated he is. In my sphere of sci-fi and what people talk to me about, he never came up. And I just dug him out once because it was recommended in a Audible review or something. You like this? Check this out. And I read the review, read the synopsis, read all the reviews, and people mentioned a lot of things that I like, and hey, if you liked, or it's a lot like, or in the vein of, and I typically will jump on 1 or 2 books if I have some credits, and then run with it, you know.
Notchback, thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow.
What's happening?
Bobzilla,
Yeah, the Silo series is great.
Did you see something top secret on his phone when he was showing off his books?
Was there something top secret?
I don't know. Big Bobzilla said brave with that phone on display. That means...
I don't got nothing to hide. I ain't got nothing interesting on my phone. Orson Scott Card, great stuff. Yep. Yep. The Ender's series, if you've never read it. Great. The whole Ender's Game series, the Cycle of Ender, is fantastic. So if you have not given it its due, if you've only read Ender's Game or only seen the movie or whatever, I always highly recommend Ender's Game and the Speaker for the Dead and all of that, because the Ender Saga is way more than you would get just from Ender's Game, or especially if your version of that is the movie.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the movie.
Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, it is tangentially tied to the book in the sense of the main focus and the bugs and all that. Another great thing is the series that goes back and talks about the first war, or the first war, I think, right? With the bugs as they attack Earth, which is what triggers Ender's Game and all of that. The Fomorian, is it Fomorian? Formosan? I don't remember what it is. But those books are pretty good. There's some really, really good narration in it. The only thing that's disturbing for me is I like a single narrator. I'm not one of the one that's into the cinematic narration where all the characters are told by different people.
Is it told by different?
It isn't. It's like one narrator does a particular vignette of the story. Like some of it happens in Southeast Asia, so there's a narrator for that. Some of it happens on the moon and out in the asteroid belt, and one narrator does that.
Oh, that's
one of it's
weird.
told from a female perspective for a character that's in the books. Another one's told from a Marine's perspective that's in the books. I think it was like 5 narrators, and 3 of them are spectacular, and 2 are just meh. They're just okay. But I think it's jarring for me. It helps when you have a storyline that jumps across to so many places so quickly that it switches narrator, and it's very consistent in that manner.
Yeah.
So I get it, and it works.
That's like Game of Thrones.
Huh?
Like the Song of Ice and Fire, the Game of Thrones series.
Uh-huh.
All the chapters are from a different
Point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's how they did this, just with different narrators, which I think probably carries the story pretty well.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just a little jarring. I prefer to have one narrator.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Just so I don't, because when I'm listening to a book, I'm not sitting in a chair. I'm focused on other things, like whether it's driving or painting or whatever it is. And so the voice change gets to be a little jarring and is disturbing.
Kind of takes you out of it.
Because I'm in this focus, and it's my extraneous input. I Am Legend, as a book, the actual book, fantastic. It's fantastic. One of my favorite books of all time, I Am Legend. The movie? No.
Well, that's what people are saying about Ender's Game, the movie, as well, is that it was terrible. And I feel like
the first Formic Wars, you got it.
when you really, really, really love a book, maybe don't see the movie. Because it's usually disappointing.
It's hard, right? We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
And for nerds, I think it's
as
tougher.
you read, you get so immersed, you have your own vision, and it's like you're relying on someone else's vision to match yours exactly, and it usually doesn't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. El Noveno, what's going on? Hello, Aaron.
What up?
The majority of the time it was one narrator, but on big events in the book there'd be different voice actors. Dune audiobook was weird like that. They make one that's like that. The regular one is not that way. It's read by one person. The original Dune books in audio are all read by the same narrator and are fantastic. They did do theatrical approaches to them that are also abridged, I believe. Remember, when they do that, a lot of time they will cut parts out of the book. They'll do
that's
edits
weird.
that kill some of the story that they don't feel is intrinsic to narrating like that.
That's so odd.
Green Mile, great book.
Green Mile's a good
Movie's
book.
good too, but it
Yeah.
had a little bit of difference in the story, but also good.
But probably one of the best book to movie Stephen King. Stephen King, the movies based on Stephen King books are usually terrible.
Yeah, he hasn't had a good run. Cujo was okay, but that was back in the day when
They were kind of cheesy.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it a little too dark?
If this thing accidentally gets hit and dimmed down, it starts flickering on the screen.
Oh, weird.
I looked up and it was kind of green.
Flickering, yeah.
Yeah. If the LEDs dim, the refresh rate on the camera will kind of pick it up.
Do we keep it on max usually?
Always on max. Yep,
Oh, okay.
always. Hitchhiker's Guide, great series of books. Red Dwarf, great series of books. See, this is why I don't read books. Then they can't ruin my movies. Definitely not anything to do with I can't read. Gosu, it was like 21 hours long. It might not be abridged, but a lot of times when they do, I don't pay attention to the ones. If I can get the book read by one narrator, I get that. I don't ever go with the multiple theatrical release. I don't care about that.
I just hate when they change narrators in a series.
That hurts, especially if the first one's good, right?
Or
I've
if you
noticed
just
that a
get
lot.
used
Like when
to
you
it.
have a book that is probably done by a little-known author, and there's a narrator that is very good, who is also maybe, lower rung, and then the book does very well, and it goes to a sequel,
And they get
and
a
now it has
fancier-
big money, and so they
fancier
say, we're
person.
going to get a narrator that everybody loves, and it's disturbing because
Yeah.
the first guy...
It's not as good.
Well, it
Yeah.
became the story. I don't know that there's even when it's the first time you've heard this story, and first time you've heard anything about it, the narrator, if he or she is halfway
Well,
decent,
huzzah,
becomes the
huzzah.
story
I'll
for
just
you.
roll back my
And so it
legs
becomes
and
jarring. It's like
That's
something
what
you've
happened
been
to me
ripped
like.
apart. Yeah.
with Malazan.
Well, it's the same thing when you
Amy,
have
thank
actors
you
or
for that
actresses
sub.
that are in a role and that you like it and you experience it and then you see it again and it's not them, There was always a lot of that with the James Bonds, right? They'd switch from one James Bond to another James Bond and it's like, that's not Bond.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan is not Bond.
Game of Thrones,
know.
the TV show.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny.
And Wad, when they're
yeah, Game of
talking
Thrones
about
switched
these
some
books,
people up.
how many of them are actually reading the books? They're listening to the audiobooks.
Yeah, sometimes the narrator isn't available, right? And speaking to authors and other things that we're doing here, a lot of times they'll tell us, like sometimes your book has a deadline by contract that it has to release, and a lot of that's tied to the audiobook release as well. And if the narrator is unavailable and doesn't have the calendar space, you're just screwed. You either negotiate and that changes the dollars,
Yeah.
or you let it go to whoever else.
You know what I really love about the Justin Files though, is I love that the writer got James Marsters to do the voiceover for it. He had never done a voiceover for a book before.
Who?
James Marsters? Or maybe I'm thinking
Marsden? Cyclops?
No, it's the guy who plays Angel and Buffy, who does the voiceover for all of the Dresden Files books.
Was he in Bones?
The
That's that same guy?
actor
The
who
other
plays
guy.
Angel?
Oh, the other guy.
The other guy. It's like I'm not Spike? No.
The actor who plays Angel?
Maybe I'm getting them mixed up. It's the other guy. Marston. James Marston, yeah.
Well, that's what
Well,
I
that's
said,
what-
James
yeah.
Marston.
Yeah.
David Boreanaz is Angel.
Yeah. I haven't watched the show. I just... Okay.
Spike from Buffy, because Angel was the guy in Bones.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You said
Yeah.
Angel, and I'm like, I recognize the guy's face.
I got them mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get them mixed up a lot. So he does all of the voiceovers for all of the Dresden Files books,
Uh-huh.
and he had never done
Voiceovers?
voiceovers before.
That's funny.
So, but he's actually really good at it.
Sure.
So his first one is a little rough, but once he gets into like book 3 and 4, it's like really, really, really good.
Cool.
And it's like one of the things that like the whole fan base for the book series is actually in love with.
James
like-
Marsters, not James Marston.
That's what I thought. Yeah, James Marsters.
Marsters,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
Oh, okay, you got it right.
Yeah.
Looked like Billy Idol. Yeah, I just had to Google it. I don't know who he is. He looked like Billy Idol.
But yeah, he actually absolutely kills the voiceovers for those books. They're really, really, really good. It's funny too because a lot of people are like, when you make a live action version of this, that's not the crappy one that already exists.
Yeah.
Just have Marsters play Dresden because he's like also really tall. And Dresden's like a super tall character. They
Oh,
look very
gotcha.
similar. Yeah.
That way it'll match.
Yeah.
Everybody will be like, that's the guy.
He's definitely too old because in the books he starts out as like 22 or 24 or something. A lot of time passes in that book series.
In the Dresden Files?
Yeah. It's also like 20 something books long so
I
far.
was gonna say, yeah, it's very deep into its. Hey, somebody likes
Into its run, yeah.
Mac Maker, thank you for the follow.
Because I think Dresden is like in his 40s at like current. I think it's like early 40s, 40 to 42 maybe. So, a lot of time passes.
That's cool though when a series can survive long enough to have you, grow
Yeah.
with the character, see those things happen.
Well, and the cool thing is, and this is one of the things I've noticed about this book that I have never seen done well in another series that has this much time pass, is the characters really grow, like in maturity and like through their experiences, and like when you look at the beginning parts of that series and you look at where the end is, you're it's like this is a totally different person, but you can see how all of the things that have happened have impacted who this person is.
Yeah.
And how they have grown to become who they are.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Morning Tide wants to know if the Dresden books are chronological by release.
Yes. Just to make sure, I would Google it.
Reading order.
Yeah. But
anytime picking up a new series, always Google reading order. If you're into chronological events, don't ever just start. Like with Dune, I would always recommend not starting with Dune. I would always recommend starting with the Butlerian Jihad series. The
Why Butlerian always makes me giggle.
It's because it's about the butt. It's the Butlerian Jihad.
No, it's just funny.
But the
It's a funny name.
the Machine Crusade and all of that stuff would be the place to start, and they're tremendous, and then go to Dune, because I feel like, unfortunately, the reason why so many of those books get kind of bad reviews is because everybody read Dune, and you know where you're headed. And Dune is a tremendously different story than all the preceding. I'm having a hard time over here today. Keep knocking things over. Using just straight brown wash.
Kante Chris would like to know, would you read Dresden before the Horace books?
I mean, the cool thing about Dresden, hold on. The good thing about Dresden is it's a great book series that you can pick up, put down, and pick up again. So if you want to like start with Horus or the heresy stuff, and then be like, I need a break from this book series because it's like dense.
Yes.
Dresden is a really wonderful, like, light read.
If I had only enough money or time for one book or one series, it would be the Horus Heresy. Not Dresden.
I haven't read it all, so I can't. I can't objectively make a suggestion to that. I wouldn't feel comfortable saying either way. But I can tell you that I have enjoyed the Dresden Files significantly. I've read it multiple times.
Ghost who said, I'm 45 books into the heresy. We getting there.
Yeah. It's less books. It's a lot less commitment.
Well, and I'm not saying you read all the books.
Yeah.
You know, you never catch me saying all the heresy books are good. Bunch of them are stinkers. Black Library has produced a lot of stinkers.
They've also produced a lot of good stuff.
Morningtide said, I'm going to start Dune on the book you're reading right now, Jason. Good plan?
Which one? Dune on the book I'm reading right now?
Yeah.
Just the book I'm reading right now? Navigators of Dune? You've lost your mind. Don't do it. As a matter of fact, read the Machine Crusade stuff and then skip
Yeah, just skip the book.
the school books, right? Go to the house books and then do Dune, right? Would be my choice. That's just pure brown wash over my blonde hair to smooth out the sloppy yellow ochre, and then we can go back over it with yellow ochre again because now we've shaded the yellow ochre down with the brown wash. We've created a in-between color that'll make yellow ochre doubly viable. And I'm thinking I'll wait another step before, because I'm going to do brown wash on all the non-metallic gold bits of the axe too, but I'm going to wait on that. Oh, I got to get back here.
What was that, brown wash?
Just brown wash. Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of brown wash,
Straight, no chaser.
I am also using brown wash right now.
That good.
Brown wash, front and center today.
Really good.
Very good.
It's a really good color.
Did
Very
you
good.
thin that wash at all, Jay? I don't know which one,
Nope.
since you're both
No.
using it.
Neither of us did.
No. Wetness on a brush, and I was using a number 6. So yes, it's thinned with the wetness on the brush. But no, I didn't. I just put brown wash in a cup, no water added.
A Discord channel for book club.
That actually would be pretty
We've
fun.
talked about it quite a few times, and we've never done it.
I can make one.
I was just gonna say, can Gabe do that, Gabe?
About to finish the
Gabe.
Siege of Terra series. What's released so far, Omicron? Yeah, the only one that I didn't like was this last End in the Death Part 1.
You were saying it felt kind of...
Or no, I didn't like the End in the Death Part 1. We're already through to 2.
Oh, you didn't like 1. You thought 2 was good.
2 is good.
Okay.
2 gets going again.
Okay.
1 was
Just dirtle for too long?
not so good. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe End in the Death 1 is all we have. They're waiting on... I don't remember. They've already increased it by 1 book size. And the critique I had about the last one is that it could have been... It had some neat stuff in it, but it could have been told in 1 book. So it must be this last one with Dan Abnett, who wrote it, who's one of my favorite authors in the entirety of 40K. And it was not a good book. And then everybody's like, best book ever. So I'm just like, I'm just not part of this world. Like, I just don't get it. Because it's not good. It has some good events that occur, and it brings to light some really cool things. Not a good book to read, though.
What's the what is the best book that Abnett has written for that franchise, in your opinion?
I don't know that I could single one out, because the stuff that he does is just too good throughout the Eisenhorn, Ravener, Becking, in the Inquisitor series,
Mm-hmm.
and then Gaunt's Ghosts. Gaunt's Ghosts has a couple of books that you could call stinkers, but by and large, the story is one of the most emotionally involved stories in the lore of 40K, because those characters become like family. It has a very, like, the characters you love in Game of Thrones, right? It's like that. There are just characters you love in that series who mostly die. Spoiler alert. But
I'm just like, I will never forget how shocked I was when Ned Stark died. I was convinced that they were seeing things. Like, I think that might have been in Arya's chapter. I don't remember.
yeah,
But I feel like no, that didn't
That
really
didn't just happen.
like,
Like,
that
that
didn't
can't
just
be.
happen.
This is a
I'm gonna
vision.
read the next chapter and he's gonna be back, right? That
that
you know,
can't
it
be
was-
right.
Because
Ned's the
her
man.
face was shielded from it. Yeah, no. He died.
Props for them to have a character die off screen and have it still remain dead throughout the entirety of the series.
Yeah.
Unlike some.
Yeah.
Colm, yeah.
Actually, you know what? The book's not over. He could still be
That's
alive.
true. He could come back.
We're
We have
holding
no
out.
idea.
Try again, Bragg.
I think the book's over.
We only have Into the Death Part 1. Not a good book. Echoes of Eternity was also not a good book. Is that the one that was before it? Also not a good book. These last two have been kind of stinkers in the Siege of Terror. They were really some of the best books in the entire series up until these last two. And the other one was Dembski Bowden. Was that Echoes of Eternity? Not a good book. Lots of inconsistencies throughout the book with the Adeptus Mechanicus chick. And then and just a bunch of time spent in stupid mind states with all the chaos people that didn't need to be done. Again, some really neat parts in the book. The book is not bad back to front or front to back, but just not great. Legion is a great book. Yep, Legion is a great book. Hello, Deathspawn.
Hello. We got a death spawn in the house.
Infinite and the Divine. But yeah, I feel like my problem with the first and the finale was that it felt very much like they drug it out because someone determined we need to milk this, either for time or money. And so I'm not really behind that whole thing. Take some faded ultramarine, I think, and mix that in with Payne's Gray. Lords of Silence. That's a 40K book, isn't it? Not a heresy book? Not that it matters, but maybe I'm remembering wrong. 40K books I do not gush on as much, although I just mentioned, Gaunt's Ghosts and the Inquisitor series. But 40K leaves a lot to be desired in the books most of the time. There are some good ones.
I thought Gaunt's Ghost was heresy.
No.
Oh.
It's in between. It's the Sabbath World's Crusades.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's kind of, I don't know, somebody else with a better timeline understanding would be able to represent where it is in years, but it doesn't happen in the current 40K universe.
Era, yeah.
It's not Lord Macarius time frame, I don't believe.
Who's that?
Lord Solar is the ruling commander over all the military at any given time.
Oh, interesting.
Back in the day. I don't think there is a Lord Solar anymore. Not with Gilliman back. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think there is.
Desmond said I reattempted non-metallic metal last night. It looks meh. It takes practice.
It does. It's not easy. Takes time, takes effort and practice. You'll get it eventually.
Are you practicing on don't people practice on plastic spoons or something so that you have the?
You can.
Mm-hmm. Good.
The key is always, and I kind of tongue in cheek it when I say this, but general issue with people's non-metallic metal is doing too smooth of a blend.
That was mine.
That was your problem.
That was my problem.
Yep.
Because I like things to be really smooth and blended.
Yep. And it will ruin the effect. That's why we talk about the smoother your blends, the longer your transition between dark and light, the less like metal and reflective surface it will become. So you have to be very careful. And that's very difficult to learn, to train yourself, because it's untraining yourself, really. Because if you've been painting minis, we don't generally start out doing non-metallics or reflective surface painting like that. We tend to just paint in a blended way. You want to go from dark to light. You want to have it look smooth. You want people to love your work. And so doing non-metallic requires you to bust out of that to some extent and be able to have very harsh transitions.
Aloha Source does.
Hello, sauce.
Paint Liquor says, I can't blend, so my style is optimized for non-metallic metal.
There you go.
Could very well be.
I think spending time to figure out the light reflections and everything is also really important too. Spending time observing light reflecting off of objects like that is really important.
So sit outside on a sunny day. Look
Yeah.
at the world around you.
Take photos.
Take photos.
I took a really nice photo of a chrome Dodge Ram hitch thing. And it was just like the perfect sky earth non-metallic metal for chrome, and it really had like all the right colors and everything. I was just like, I'm gonna take a picture of this so I don't ever forget what it looks like.
Yeah.
So, and
You
it's
should
got
do
lots
that.
of weird shapes in it too, so it's very helpful with like learning how to deal with kind of weird funky shapes.
We should do a post like that where we find some inspiration out in the world.
You've done that with
Yeah.
weathering and rust
We've done
before.
it before. Yeah, bark. I did one with tree bark. Those are nice.
But yeah,
once in a
never
while
be afraid to
give us
just
inspiration.
look around and take pictures, and
Yeah, I take photos of random stuff. all
don't
the time.
don't feel bad about using reference photos.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I think a lot of people feel like it's some sort of cheating or something. I'm like, nope.
Nope, that's just smart choice of doing stuff.
Hellfire said, "What is outside?" That's where they grow the minis, right?
Yeah. Or they make the stuff you like. In that big old evil space outside the door.
That's fun. Neither one of these two will be able to see it until after stream, but I know they will see it after stream. So hang tight.
And I've gone in and I've mixed into my so the fur first was Payne's Gray, then faded ultramarine into Payne's Gray to get this color, right? This lighter color. And now that same faded ultramarine into neutral gray to get a color. I don't want the faded ultramarine. So this is a good tip in blending. Remember that just because I am using a color like faded ultramarine doesn't mean I ever have to use faded ultramarine on its own. Some people will get mixed up thinking that, you know, if I've mixed a color in, eventually I have to use that color. No. Not by itself. I'm just using faded ultramarine as the way to keep a very muted blue going through my grays as I work on this weird blue, white fur that I want to cook up here.
Cooking up the fur.
Sounds delectable. I'm just using the side of the brush to catch the texture on this. Our model's got really, really good sculpted
What
texture.
brush are you using? That's an artillery brush?
It's in a very old artillery number 2. Yeah, it's actually not even a real artillery number 2. It's one of the
Prototype?
the prototype samples for the artillery brushes that I dug out of that room over there.
Yeah.
Because before we got brushes QC'd, I needed a new number 2.
You needed a brush.
I needed a brush, so I went and got this one. So this brush is
It's an antique.
how many
Old
years? Yeah, how
school.
many years old would this
It's
brush
retro.
even be?
Vintage.
2018.
Man's
Probably.
painting some vintage
Probably
product.
Probably like
too.
2018. This brush. Pretty crazy to think about.
Turns out you guys have been making cool stuff for a hot minute.
Yeah, and I'm a cheapskate and won't go take brushes that I think customers might want. So I'm like,
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
A good part of my morning with a bunch of synthetics number 2
Nice.
for our friends up north.
In the Canada.
Uh-huh. Crib Shadow said, "Can you give me tips to get shops in Southern California to stock Monument?" Okay, thanks.
Talk to him.
Yeah, tell him to
Tell him to send a message.
it's funny
to
when
support.
people talk to me on like customer support. I'm always like, go kick them in the shins.
Yeah.
Tell them, what are you doing? We actually do have a very proactive approach coming very soon to a lot of these stores that we know of. Some of the bigger ones that don't, normally reach out for new product because they're just kind of doing the same business they've always done. So hopefully we'll see a lot of the stores that you know and love picking up that way. But I know we brought on the guys down in.
We have one in San Diego area.
Are they asking about San Diego specifically?
No, he just said Southern California. So I'm just off the top of my head. I know that there is someone in the San Diego area. Let's see what else we got.
I don't know that we have anybody in San Diego proper, do we?
Not, I said area.
Let me zoom this in so y'all can see what I'm actually doing here.
Say.
Starting to take some of this shadow color that I've mixed up. A little bit of silver plus warm brown, black green, a little bit of black. Get some earthy colors into the shadows here.
Yeah, there's a shop in Pasadena, at least one.
Lake Forest,
Yeah, it's north of.
Garden City, Brea. We do have several in Northern California,
Definitely more in northern.
but the furthest one south is Comet Quest in Lake Forest.
Then we add in bright neutral gray into the faded ultramarine.
Oh yeah, there is for sure a store in Pasadena. Well, Omicron, you're in Arizona. That doesn't help Crypt Shadow in Southern California because I feel like there's a store closer.
One
Like us.
in Scottsdale.
Close enough. Tabletop Wargamers would probably be the closest.
Oh, that's true. They're the furthest west.
Yeah. Flawed Tomato said my monument brushes are on two very different sides of the age scale. I have a SAM set, but there were no black handles. They're the red and blue bomb wick igniters and artillery. And then the other set is the Uncle Adam. We made SAM sets without black before.
No.
We didn't?
I don't think so, did we?
Wad's saying that he has a SAM set that has red and blue igniters and artillery.
Maybe the very first ones. Because his was the first set we did.
Yeah.
We might have tried it to see. Now that you mention this, I feel like maybe we did it with our artillery.
I feel like, cause no, I feel like when we announced it, it was,
No, they've always been black. I
they've
think.
always been black.
No, that's right. They're not. They did
No?
have red and blue.
Really?
Because I remember the picture.
I'm
I remember
gonna
him
look- I'm-
holding up the red and blue
I'm
ones.
looking on the Instagram.
Deep within the bowels of Instagram.
Yeah, it's way back.
Yeah, because I remember the photo of him holding up. He took a picture of him in his sunglasses holding up the red and blue handled ones.
Sam.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, Sam. Did you say Tim?
No, I said
said
Sam.
Sam.
Oh, you did say Sam. Okay.
Yeah, I said Sam.
Either that or just his hand holding it, and the new one has him in his sunglasses. I can't remember. But
Long ago was it? I think I went.
it had a sticker for Sam on the tube, and it said they'd be black.
Huh.
I think you're lying.
He's got to be lying.
Maybe we ran out.
No, part of me remembers there being the Sam set that was just the normal assembly of brushes, and then we switched to doing matte black. Because
There was a point when we had.
we moved factories for the synthetics right in the middle of that.
Point when we did like a limited run of sables in black.
Yeah, which was always surprising because it would piss people off.
Yeah, they didn't like it.
That's weird.
We stopped doing it because people would yell at us. Some people loved it, and some people were like, if I wanted black handles, I'd buy brushes from so and so and thus and such. I'm like, okay, fair.
But that's so weird, though.
I was like, I didn't think it mattered, but okay. You learn what people love when you take it away from them.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
we didn't do that again. Actually, we did it like 3 times. That stuff worked really well back in the day of you know, the stream being our
Omicron. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye,
big-
Omicron.
Get out of here. Have a good one. The stream used to love, you know, like, oh my gosh, yes. Black handled long wicks. And we just do it as special occasion stuff. But then once we got bigger, the expectation changed, and people were like, last time I bought their red, what's the difference here? You're like, nothing? It's fine?
Oh, okay, so we posted on January 13th, 2021 that the Sam Lens Weapon Rack brush set is back in stock in the best color ever. We're not going to say this is a limited super special deal, but get them while you can, and that was black. Maybe before that?
Oh yeah, because they were red and blue, and then we released them in black. People liked them, and we could do it constantly, so we kept it black.
Oh, here it is. One doesn't show.
It's all starting to ring a bell.
Okay. Lumberjack Tim said my first sable was one of our black ones.
Fur? Fur?
Source does said I heard a former GW product designer say there was a lot of discussion as to which color Citadel brush was the best. where they all were the same, just with different color handles. T. Schmidt doesn't care how. T. Schmidt only cares how they paint. Red, blue, black doesn't matter. Good brush is good.
Good brush is good. Yes, true.
You want hot pink and plaid handles, Lumberjack Tim? Well, here's what you do. You buy the regular brushes and then you paint them. Get some nail polish.
That'll do it.
Yeah, the only, like, when GW went from the red, they did change. So when the designer says that they were the same, understand that that's not true, because they changed suppliers. They kept the same hair, the same red sable hair, but they changed suppliers in there. Because when I was there, there was a batch of Kolinsky Sable GW brushes that had raw wood handles, stained, not raw, stained wood handles that came in a case with brush soap and the whole nine, right? It was Artis Opus before there was Artis Opus. And they were amazing. Masters series, maybe it was GW's Masters series brushes, and I had one forever. And they were good brushes. You know, they were Winsor Newton Kolinsky Sables, I believe. But the normal red sable brushes, I know, change suppliers from time to time. So I would call shenanigans on that, because the red handled ones were way better than the blue when they did the change.
Said according to him, they were made by the same woman even. But we were talking a specific brush, not the
Maybe.
Artificer series? Or the Winsor Newton Series 7.
This is before there were Artificer brushes. So I don't know how long back we're talking. I'm talking about early 2000s. When we went from the red to the blue handle brushes, and then they came out with a natural one. And the natural one was very expensive, yeah. For sure.
Sounds expensive.
Came in a little box that had, gosh, I don't remember what all it had. It had some funky... It had like a cloth that you clean the brush in. It was like a cheesecloth kind of thing.
What the heck?
And a little tub of brush soap that was instantly horrible. Dried out in Southern California where I was at the time. Like instantly. When we moved, I once again found my my dog tags and my what do you call it? Imperial Crest belt buckle. All the things that I got as the chief librarian was my title of the West Coast.
You had a special belt buckle?
Yeah.
Like a rodeo belt buckle?
It's pretty big. It's the Imperial Eagles.
They don't mess around.
You need to start wearing that.
That's so funny.
It's pretty good, actually.
Dad, you need to start wearing that.
There was a point in time where we were like going to give it away on stream, but I never could bring myself to do so.
No, it's yours. I'll wear it.
I have
Jen's gonna be styling over here.
They did dog tags for us. Everybody that was in the West Coast managerial office got these dog tags to denote your position within the chapter. We were the Dark Angels. Each region had to pick a Space Marine chapter. The Midwest was the Blood Angels. The Northeast was the Ultramarines. The South was the Space Wolves.
Hellfire said you need a Lord Commander's solar coat for when you are at work.
I don't need any kind of coat in Arizona.
What does that mean?
I'll take a cape.
What is a Lord Commander's solar coat?
big, jacked up, like super trench coat
Oh.
for military commander.
Well, then I should get the biggest coat.
Yes. Jen is the military leader around here.
I'm the Lord Commander. Can people please start calling me Lord Commander?
Yes, Lord Commander.
Lord Commander Jen.
Happens right away. I was so easy. I should have asked a long time ago.
Lord Commander Jen.
You realize from now on, when I greet you in the morning, I'm going to say good morning, Lord Commander. And you're going to laugh
you.
so much.
Yes, Lord Commander. See,
So
everybody in
easy.
chat gets it too. Yes,
So
Lord
easy.
Commander.
So
Gabe's
easy.
already down.
Thank you. What if I would prefer like a curtsy though?
All right.
A
Hey, look.
curtsy instead of a salute.
Yeah.
We all have to pretend we have
Yes.
the curts. We have your skirt out.
Yeah.
Worse yet, we all have to wear skirts so that we can curtsy.
Nah, you don't
New
have
dress
to.
code.
Awesome human Dave.
I won't-
Had
I
a
won't.
ceremony.
You won't go that
I
far?
won't go that far.
But the curtsy is a mandatory.
Yeah, curtsy
Yeah.
is obvious. I mean, come on.
You're going to get the most
You
ridiculous
got a curtsy while in
curtsies.
formation. Just ranks of us in tutus. About to change here at Monument Hobbies. Life is about to change.
Human Dave, that's awesome. How long was he in the Marines? My cousin retired a couple years ago from the Navy, and they did a big ceremony for him.
How long have you been in? 20 plus years?
20 plus years.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
in order to get a ceremony,
He
generally-
joined at like 20 years old, probably.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he enlisted, and then he went through. Can you become an officer if you enlist? He went through a whole bunch of training to get higher rank,
hmm
but I don't know what his final rank was.
In CEO, non-commissioned officers,
Yeah.
but if you go to officer school, you got to go through a whole different...
He did. He went through a ton of training.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Can you go right into officer school from...
No.
Yeah, I was about to say, you have to be in the military for some period of time. before
Yeah,
you
he
can do
was
that, right?
in. Like I said, he was. You can go from enlisted to officer. Okay.
And it has to be from recommendation, if I recall? Or can you apply for it?
That I do not know.
He was a recruiter for a really long time.
He was skinny, came out looking like the Hulk. Nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
my cousin too, even in the Navy.
And not be a scrub.
And not be a scrub.
It goes without saying.
Does it, though?
I think so, personally.
All right, I'm happy with what I'm going to call
I think if
these
you're going to be
codes.
in charge of people, you can't be an idiot. Or I should say, you shouldn't be an idiot. Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Shouldn't and aren't are two very different statements.
What is that back there that you're painting right now?
That's her sleeve. That's her other arm. It's padded leather.
Oh, okay. I see. I see.
These silly models have got a ton of detail on them. They really do. paint up this guy's peg leg.
That's right.
Yeah. That's like
Oh,
one of
yeah.
my favorite things about this model. That he just like straight up has a peg leg. And it's like he's got special equipment on the horse to make it work. I think that's like unironically really cool.
Nutrimenta, what's going on?
Nutrimenta. Hello. I feel like I haven't seen Nutrimenta in here in a little while. What you been up to? How's life?
He just kicks in the door,
I'm here.
starts screaming at everybody. What's happening? What you doing? Hope everything's
not
going
been
well for
around.
you, Nutra. Long time no see.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a week.
El Paso.
Oh, exciting.
Interesting.
I remember my last trip to El Paso.
Never been.
I drove all the way there for nothing. I called those damn people. I was born in Texas, so I had to get I couldn't find the copy of my birth certificate here to transfer my ID to Arizona finally. And so I contacted Texas records department, and they said, oh yeah, there's a place for you. If you're coming from Phoenix, you're probably best to go to El Paso, because going to Austin is going to be a super long trip for you. And the Amarillo one doesn't do it. They don't have a walk-in area. And so I was like, okay, El Paso it is. And so what was it? It was like 9 hours to El Paso from here, whatever it was, 9 or 10 hours.
At the most.
So I took off on like a Sunday night or something like that and drove almost all the way there. And then, or got all the way there, I think, at night, midnight or something.
Yeah.
Ate Mexican food
Yep.
in El Paso at a really cool little place. And then woke up in the morning. I had talked
Right
to this.
across the street.
I had
from
talked to
the
this specific office.
Your hotel was right across the street from the office.
Yeah, I
You
could
said you
see
could
it.
see it out the window.
I could see the records building from my hotel. Get up first thing in the morning, go to the records building, walk in, go up to the window, and say, hey, I spoke to so-and-so. They went and got him. He came and sat down at his window, and I said, I spoke to you about getting my birth certificate, and I gave him all my stuff, and he goes, oh, yeah, we can't give you a full birth certificate. We can only give you a short form birth certificate at the walk-up because you're too old.
You're too old.
Well, it's not in our. They said records only date back to so and so from pre 1990 or pre 2000. You have to go to the Capitol, or you have to submit it, and they'll send it to you.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Go
It's like,
home, old man.
yeah, basically, go home, old man. Right? And I'm like, I just drove from Phoenix, Arizona, based on the fact that you said I could get my birth certificate.
Oh, sorry, they gave you
And he goes,
bad
well, this works in a
information.
lot of cases.
A lot of cases.
It'll probably work.
Not 100% of the time.
It'll probably work.
That's probably fine.
Did it work?
Serves you right for being alive so long. damn youngsters.
No, T. Schmid, that's not true.
It's pretty true.
Aren't there cartels in El Paso?
Yes. That doesn't prevent cartels and tacos are not mutually exclusive though. So.
No, he said that's what's in El Paso. Nothing. I said that's not true. Cartels.
there's cartels in El Paso.
There's cartels there too. And
Definitely cartels in El Paso.
Live
Serves
PD.
me right for living so long. Bastards!
Live PD used to be in El Paso.
Live PD used to be.
They used to follow officers in El Paso.
50% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
It's true.
Sex Panther. It smells like gasoline. Ron Burgundy's reaction to that is, it smells like pure gasoline. You have zero crime knowledge. You live in Houston.
Yeah.
They have to train you on crime in Houston, don't they? What to do. Oxy, what's going on? Time for some dark umber.
Dark umber.
I'm gonna talk like this for the rest of the show.
Oh, please don't.
I think you should.
OMG.
Y'all finish Ted
Nope.
Lasso yet?
Nope.
I like how Tim's always like updating us. I may not make it home tonight. If you didn't know who Tim was,
Yeah.
if you were a newcomer to the show and you see Lumberjack Tim walk in, you would think, is that man all right? Should we call a number for this lumberjack guy?
Yep.
Is he being chased by bears?
Also, yes.
It would make for a more
Grandma
interesting
for the
story
win.
if that were the
Grandma's
case,
a
right?
hero. Coxie said my grandma's buying me the Pro Acryl set
Oh, dang.
for Christmas.
Good old grandmothers.
A good gift. We do love Tim though.
Tim's aight. Tim's aight. We keep him around.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah, that guy. Sometimes we must begrudge the Tim.
Juan Tomato misread buying as bullying and was confused. Grandma's bullying me.
Why would Grandma be bullying you?
My grandma
She's
knocked my
mean.
tooth out.
If I recall, you said that she felt very bad after that and never
quit
drank
drinking.
again.
she quit drinking.
So then I think she turned out for the better.
At
You sacrificed the
GW
tooth. She
Don't let that get in the way of a good story. I like it by telling it as she knocked my tooth out.
Coxie,
She
you
did.
won't find it in a GW store, no. They'll only sell their paint.
We've been working on them.
But
we keep calling.
loads but there are here, I'm gonna put this link up. Put in your postcode on that link and you can see if there's a store close to you. But tell grandma that she needs to buy it from a store in the UK if you're in the UK. Element Games.
Yeah, there are a bunch
Yeah.
of shops that also sell GW that sell our stuff.
Yes. But if it's just a GW, like an official GW store, no, they won't.
Yeah, they most certainly will not have our paint.
We keep telling them.
Tim said, I just had Taco Bell. If I make it home tonight, my wife is going to hate me.
I had Taco Bell the other day. It was very mediocre.
It was what?
Very mediocre.
I mean, it's Taco Bell.
What was your
Yeah,
expectation
what was your
going in? I'm
expectation?
curious as to what you were hoping for.
A little bit better than mediocre.
I never go to Taco Bell thinking this is going to be great.
I do
I mean,
occasionally.
if you're drunk, you are, and it will be.
You don't need to be drunk.
It
You just
will
gotta be
be.
happy. Have you met me?
He goes home and okay, so I got to tell you about Jordan and his alcoholic addiction.
Wait, what?
Uh-oh.
We've been trying to have I think it's time. Right.
I
I
don't
think
drink
it's time that
booze.
we ask chat
Uh-oh. I don't know about this.
to help
I
step
don't
in
know. I don't know about this
for this
situation.
intervention.
So
And don't
I-
act innocent over there. We've been having this conversation about how Jordan needs an intervention for his drinking problem. He leaves, and before he gets to his front door, he's 3 tequila shots in.
You know what's really funny about
You
this?
guys are from the
Did
above
it
in the
happen
alley.
yesterday?
No.
That his neighbor had to
I'm-
call us yesterday
I'm not
saying,
even
hey,
joking.
your painter's on my doormat again at his apartment.
You know
He's
what's
a-
really
he's
I had to
funny
go
about
visiting
pick
the
him
guy
up,
in the alley with the-
drooling. He's got gravel on his face and his beard. I have to lift him
taking
up
nips
and
off of the
Hold on.
brown paper bag from the
No,
alley
this is
from
even
the
better.
guy in the
He got
back.
he got in a fight with his keys after tequila shot number 3 and threw him down from the 3rd floor into the pool. So I have to go dive into the deep end of the pool, right, on a Monday night in Arizona, right, to get his keys so I can get him in his damn apartment.
You want me to make this better for you? Unironically,
Say you'll stop drinking, that would make it better.
I'm gonna stop drinking. Unironically, there was a broken bottle of tequila last night on my way home when I was walking to my door. Somebody had literally dropped a bottle of a fifth of tequila.
Somewhat.
Wasn't me, but you could smell it. It was really tequila-y.
You see what we deal with, chat? You see why this intervention is necessary?
I also may or may not have pre-mixed margarita in my refrigerator and a bottle of tequila on the...
Do you see? It's always somebody
I'm
else's
just
problem. It's alright. I'm always having to clean up after these bums that like break their tequila bottles on my doorstep and throw up all over the place. You see where this is going, chat? This is how we have to deal with this.
Did you lick the
At
floor?
least get better
No,
at drinking.
Coxie,
3
I did
shots
not.
is a little weak.
Hellfire says those are rookie numbers, boy. You gotta
Yeah.
pump them up. 3 shots.
What would you give to see me, like, tipsy drunk?
I've said I'll hand you $100 if you just get pissed drunk while I'm around. I'll even take care of you. I just want Jordan like completely red faced, piss his pants drunk. I just want to see this once in my life.
We can make it happen.
We can make it happen.
You find the right event.
We're going to Dave and Buster's so we can still be nerds. Play
David
video
Buster's.
games all night long.
Here's
and
the way
carry
you have
Baby
to do
J
it, though.
home in a wheelbarrow.
Don't they
I
have like
to do
fancy
shots.
cocktails at Dave and Buster's, like in the big,
Yeah,
like, with straws and stuff? Yeah.
I mean,
for like 9 people.
I have to do shots. I can't get there any other way than doing shots.
doing shots.
Yeah.
All right, we're skipping over the easy stuff, straight for the shots.
I
like it.
can't drink enough booze to get drunk when I'm drinking like a mixed drink.
Yeah.
Because I just don't.
How about wine?
Wine, man. I had.
A little red
He
wine.
goes, he's like, I
No,
only
no,
had a few
I
drinks.
had,
I
like,
don't know where the
3
puke and
glasses
the
of
broken
wine.
bottle came from. Somebody else.
Adepticon or not Adepticon?
Gen Con.
Gen Con, the night of my birthday party.
Yeah.
Didn't
Other-
feel a thing.
Huh.
That's what I'm saying. I gotta do shots,
Yeah.
otherwise it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I have gotten pretty messed up on shots before. It takes a lot though.
Yeah.
I think I was like 6 or 7 shots in before
Oh,
I
wow.
really started getting. And I was still pretty with it. I would not have driven, but I was pretty with it.
Miniac did a drunk painting session.
I
We used to-
definitely.
This show used to be less tame.
We used to have a Friday night stream where we would drink
Drink
every time
booze?
someone
Yeah.
said mahogany.
Yeah, we used to drink booze on stream.
Yep.
We had our Friday night Moscow
Moscow
Mules.
Mules.
Mm.
I feel like I did.
This sounds like a great time. I'm not gonna lie.
Chuck the Mead Man will supply the mead at Adepticon.
It's in his name.
Yeah, I know.
It has to be good. He's put it like in his tag.
Desmond said, I'm picturing Lord Commander Jen and Slowfuse with a drunk Baby J between their arms. Or just like holding his hair.
I definitely drank a lot one night at Nova.
I wasn't there
Not a
to
lot
see
of
it, so it
booze.
doesn't count.
I was not drunk. I was barely even tipsy.
Where were you? Oh, it was before he got there?
No. It was the night that we had separate no, it was the night before that. We had come back from dinner and he'd gone up to his room and I just hung out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or it might have been was it Sunday night? Saturday night? It was one of those nights.
Grog is a mixed drink mixed in a trash can. We call that jungle juice.
I had a
Jungle juice.
free booze ticket
Oh.
because they screwed up all the
The
card
key
things.
cards?
Yeah.
Rooms,
I was like, I might as well use it.
Yeah.
And I used it downstairs, and the bartender was like being super nice. And this
as
is
they
definitely
are,
Saturday
those
night.
bastards.
Yeah, this guy poured me a ridiculously heavy on the booze drink. I was just
Nice.
like, oh my god, this is just tequila. There was like 2 or 3 shots of tequila, or 3, 4 shots maybe.
Oh my God. What
It was a
was
lot.
it?
Tequila Sunrise. But he it was like tequila.
Yeah.
Okay.
Orange
Splash
juice.
of orange juice with a little bit of grenadine
drop
and
of
a
grenadine.
thing. I was like, okay.
That was.
I took one sip and I was like,
This is gonna
Whoa.
sound bad. That was my favorite drink in high school.
I love grenadine. So
In high school?
Yeah.
wait, Jen? Jen.
Lush.
you realize you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff in high school, right?
It was all.
You heard her talk about how they
house.
cut her parents' alcohol and friends' alcohol, right? She was talking about that last week. Jen's a bad influence. Watch out.
No wonder I drink a lot of tequila. Is it Jen's fault that I'm so full of tequila all
It's
the
Jen's
time?
fault that
Yeah.
I cry so much. That's
Well,
all I know.
I can't drink anymore, so I just have to push it off onto other people.
Jen's fault that I cry as much as I do.
It's so funny that we're talking about this because I do not drink very much at all. Very rarely.
What about Sambuca? No.
Like if you asked me to like what drink I like to order, I could not tell you what I like to order.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever you're in the mood for that day.
But I don't even know the names of drinks to order.
Oh.
I'm like just because I don't order drinks.
Yeah.
I'm just like I don't know. I mean, I know what a rum and coke is,
Yeah.
right? Obviously.
That's my
Literally
no-go.
in the name.
That is
Yep.
my no-go.
Yeah. Right.
Can't even hear the name of it. It makes
Like
me a
I'm
little queasy.
familiar with a Moscow Mule. I don't know exactly what it is.
Ooh, it's good. It's
I know
vodka, ginger beer, lime juice. So
Yes,
good.
I have had that before.
Refreshing.
It's great.
So good.
That I would order on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think I get that and then like Manhattans mixed up all the time.
I don't know what a Manhattan is.
I don't know, what is it? It's like I don't know. It's whiskey and something else. I think.
Jen was still in high school when she was 21. Let's not talk about her failings. And then they let her teach children. So, you want to know what's wrong with the world? We'll just talk. We'll have a talk. You don't know what a Long Island is? It's an island in New York.
Oh, I have drank a decent amount of Long Islands. I like Long Islands.
That was my college drink. Manhattan is whiskey, vermouth, and bitters.
Yep, that sounds right. It's whiskey plus stuff. But yeah, I was like, I want a cocktail, and the guy was like, "What do you want?" I was like, "I don't drink very much. I have no idea." He was like, "Well, is there something that you have tried before that you like?" And I was like, "I like grenadine."
So you
So-
want
I
something
like
fruity.
sugar water.
Yeah. Yeah, I like me Roy Rogers and a Shirley Temple, all right? Some good stuff. For those of you who don't know what
This
a
man
Roy
is Shirley
Rogers
Temple.
is, it's a Shirley Temple,
For
but
boys.
with Coke.
Oh,
yeah,
with Coke.
instead of
Where did we go? Didn't you order a Shirley Temple somewhere?
yes, and then we I think was it us where we dubbed that we had to call it
John
something?
Wayne.
John Wayne, yeah, yeah. This was Adepticon.
You're not allowed to order a Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
You have to call it a John
It
Wayne.
could have been Adepticon because I wasn't there.
The guy was like, "What's a John Wayne?"
Oh, was it with you?
I feel like I was with, yes, that we were somewhere. Maybe it was when you were just here,
I might have been while I was visiting.
when you were just visiting.
What's a John
Yeah.
Wayne? It's
Yeah.
a Shirley Temple, but men can order it.
Actually, I think it was at Los Dos, maybe. Wait,
Maybe.
have we been to Los Dos? The three of us? I've been to Los Dos with
Couple
you a
times.
few times.
Oh,
I don't know if I've
Broken
ever,
Chef,
I've
what's
been
going
to
on?
Los Dos with you.
yeah, I don't know.
So it must have been somewhere else. Get this man Shirley Temple. It's a John Wayne, please. we don't order Shirley Temples around here. We order John Waynes. Broken Chef, you are most welcome for the bone tutorial. I am happy that it helped you out. No, Jordan, you're the baby. You get the Shirley Temple. I'm a baby in only name. You think they let any kind of baby make tutorials like that? No, sir. Hairy baby.
Hairy baby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We only let hairy babies make tutorials like that.
Oh, I wonder if we got that other video up today.
Tim said, I'll order a Shirley Temple, and if anyone wants to say anything about it, they can fight me. Right? That's the attitude you gotta take.
Is it though?
Here's what you do instead. You just order a Roy Rogers.
What if you don't want the Coke?
Well, you do it so that you can look at the bartender who goes, what's a Roy Rogers, and go, are you supposed to know what these things are? It's funny because, like, I would say 70% of the places that I go to know what it is. The other 30% are just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Tim just wants to fight someone. Arctic Mini Painting said, I like Coke. Wait, drinking kind or snorting kind? Answers may change.
I mean, do they?
Huh?
Huh?
Never done drugs, so I don't know. Is this a drug question?
One and done.
Well, Hellfire is... The Shirley Temple has no alcohol in it.
Correct. I don't know. Is there a
Literally a
name for a
child's
Shirley
drink.
Temple with vodka in it?
A John
Dirty
Wayne with
Shirley Temple.
vodka.
Yeah.
Huh?
John Wayne with vodka.
John Wayne with vodka.
Just call it a Dirty Shirley.
Shirley Temple.
Oh.
Shirley Temple with vodka. I think it might be a Dirty Shirley Temple.
Dirty Shirley. Now I would order a Dirty Shirley, just because that would kind of fits my steez.
Yeah.
Shirley Temple.
Surely.
A zombie cocktail? Don't know what that is. Jordan, how do you feel about Jello shots?
I've never done one.
What?
Yeah, never done it.
Oh, so fun.
I mean, it's just vodka.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's fun. They're fun.
Never done it. Remember, I didn't go to college.
Yeah.
So I skipped that whole part of the partying days. Was never a big partier.
Tailgating like it was my job.
Funny
I've had
because
vodka gummy bears as well. They didn't really turn out. One of my friends made them and they kind of turned into mush.
yeah, I think I've had. Maybe I have had them before. They weren't like super exciting. I remember that.
The gummy bears?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, this is just like
It's a fun concept.
it's a gummy bear that tastes of booze.
But they're just mushy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the other part of it too is I have a pretty reasonable tolerance to alcohol, so
That was my problem.
it's just like I'm like cool. It's just like tastes like not great stuff. I will tell you though, I had soju for the first time the other day, and I was like, oh, I'm glad I never found this out when I was really young, because this would have been bad.
Tim, I've never, or sorry, T. Schmidt, I've never made them, so I'm not sure. But I would assume that that's how you make them. No, I don't know. Fortunately for you, Jay the Younger, today is one of the best minor holidays for parties. What is the day?
I don't know. I'm gonna go home and cook food for the next couple of days. That's all I'm gonna do. I ain't gonna go to party. Yeah, I think Crib Shot. I think I did like the strawberry one. I was like, oh, this is dangerous stuff.
What is?
I had strawberry flavored soju.
What's soju?
It's a Korean alcoholic beverage.
Oh.
I don't know what it's made of or what's in it.
I got
But
one of the worst drunks of my life in
drinking soju.
North Korea. Or South Korea, sorry. In North Korea. No, in Korea. Off of mulberry wine.
Oh,
I've told that story in chat before.
That sounds bad.
Because
That sounds bad.
we went to a restaurant with the president of an electronics manufacturer there. And the little restaurant, they have like a family eating room. You sit on the floor
Yep.
on mats
Yep.
with pads. And
Oh, yeah.
they do that what do they call it? Tapas style eating, right? You
Yeah,
just bring
yeah.
lots of little things with
Yeah.
palate cleansers in between.
Mm-hmm.
And in the room against the wall was a big jar, basically, bowl with what looked like a pantyhose net over the top of it.
Oh, you were telling me about this.
And it was mulberry wine.
Yeah.
And it was just left to ferment in the room, open air. And you would get little cups of it. And my God, those men put down so much of that stuff. The woman with the ladle of it was just like on call the entire time.
That's funny.
It's Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Me mateys. Does this mean I need to go home and watch pirate affiliated things?
Flop like a fish.
Nope. We don't be doing that.
Human Dave, I made, for my cousin's bachelorette party, I made Skittles vodka. I took all the red Skittles,
Ooh,
put
and
them
you
in
took the red
a
ones?
jar,
Mm,
poured vodka,
there you go.
sealed it up, and let it sit for a couple weeks. And it was delicious. Punisher said, what was the company, or was that the company where you got everyone fired?
Yes. Same day.
Same day? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Same day after lunch. Might have been, I might have that backwards. It might have been that everybody got fired and then we went to lunch. That
Oh.
sounds like the real deal.
Is that why they were drinking so much?
Yeah, like why
Probably.
the president was drinking. He didn't hold it against us. He was very happy to do business with us, I guess, but when we got back to finish the meeting, he was nowhere to be found. So, yeah, they all got a whole, well, not they all, 2 individuals, I believe, got fired. The ones that were our account execs with that particular company got fired because they had left a 0 off minimum order quantity for this piece of electronics we were building with them, and we ordered 10,000 units, and they meant to say that we had to order 100,000 to get the price they gave us. So it got somewhere mixed up internally. It wasn't to us. We got 10,000. We said yes, we'll do 10,000 at that price, and did the contract and sent them the money, and we went over.
Yeah,
and
you
finalized
agreed
the
to
deal
the
and
right thing.
Review all the
Yeah.
engineering documents, walk the plant. We're there for 3 days, and and two account execs got fired. We
But then
immediately
they made 100,000.
we were after lunch back in the meeting room dealing with different people. They fired them on the spot and escorted them out of the building. It was that serious.
Because did they make 100,000, but you only ordered 10?
No. No, they never started making it. The design wasn't even fully proven out by that
okay.
point. There was nothing made.
Okay.
You know.
But they
So
had
was it-
agreed to make a lower amount than they typically would for the price.
They would have
that
normally
charge.
not even started up the production run at that cost for fewer than 100,000
Gotcha.
units.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But they still did it because that's how they do business.
Yeah.
Malort.
Oh God, nah, I'm good. I'm
Jason is
good.
North Korean sleeper agent. You got me. Damn it. I outed myself live on stream after all these years. I've tried so hard. You kind of see what I was talking about when doing non-metallic metal. You don't want to do smooth blending. You want to have big areas of darkness for that dark reflection. and then have abrupt changes between light and dark so that it reads as shinier material. Rather than blending from dark to light over a larger gradient like we're used to for other materials like clothing and everything else we do.
Chuck the Mead Man has a legit painting adjacent question. For those that have fairly mild vision correction prescription, do you ever forego your glasses for readers when painting?
I know a lot of people that do. I am not smart enough to know and tell you how that interacts because I don't wear glasses outside of my readers. But I know people who I see paint who flip their glasses up, put readers on, but then have to, put their normal glasses back on when they're not staring at tiny stuff.
Hellfire wants to know if you've tried doing copper non-metallic.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I feel like we have a methodology about that, right?
Every metal.
Like a dirty penny.
Yeah, there's dirty penny copper
Oh yeah.
methodology with the Necron.
You're right.
Any color, they're all the same.
Almost like you wrote it.
They're all the same. Just change your colors. I could make this copper right now. A lot of it is just kind of being brave with color, and generally when I'm doing yellow metals, gold, I throw copper in there.
Hellfire, in our Discord, I just posted the link to Discord if you're not already there. There's, what is it called? Hall of Methodologies or something like that.
Yeah, all of those.
And you can see all the methodologies, and there's at least one copper in there.
And we've done it a lot on stream with various ways of using oranges with like red transparent at the end, browns and turquoise and jade for more of a tarnished copper or verdigris.
Chuck, you don't really need the glasses. Do you wear them all the time? I wear glasses when I drive because I can't see far away, but when I paint, I use readers about 60% of the time. You'd probably be fine with just readers when you paint. Yeah, that's sounds just like me. That's why I wear my glasses.
Ruh-roh.
I didn't do it.
There they go.
I didn't do it.
Ooh, it sounds like a lot of them.
Yeah. Big ol' collection of
Maybe two.
fire engines and ambulances going places.
You hear it a lot from your apartment?
Actually, no.
I was gonna say.
which is really interesting now that I think about it.
That is kind of interesting. Is it maybe because you're like in the middle?
I am in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. My apartment is like right in the middle of the complex, so I am pretty well, you know, it's actually probably one of the best apartments in the complex, to be honest with you. It's 3rd floor. It's, you know, right in the middle of the complex, so it doesn't get super hot. Still gets good light because it's got one exposed like window that can see out. It is nice.
They're coming for Jordan's tequila.
Oh yeah, they're definitely coming for my tequila.
I got a hot tip.
We
He
heard
works
this
at the
down.
nerd store around the corner.
Yeah, this guy's got tequila. Get him.
Yard's Tony said, I elect to not wear my glasses. I elect to not wear my glasses so I can understand what the 3-foot test is going to look like at 8 inches. So
That's actually good.
I get it.
By the
8
way.
inches. But it's for here, you feel like it's okay, I got it. Why? I don't know why that was hard for me to read. I need my glasses.
You have something like a jeweler's headpiece, like the fold down, like
Oh
the
yeah, I
two.
see a lot of people with those.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
two. What do you call them? Magnifying lenses in it.
With a light attached.
Yeah, I think they usually have the light attached.
Chuck the meat. It's your hearing that's going, not your vision.
Yeah.
I'm in this photo and don't like it.
All right, I'm gonna go lock up. I'll be right back.
What was
Is
it
it
for?
that time?
It's
Oh my goodness.
Time to lock the
3:59.
doors and kick them out.
Or
Tell those
or bring
bastards
them
you should
in.
get out of here.
Someone comes in.
Never come back. Oh wait.
Wait, we need them to come back.
Yeah, we need you to come back.
Don't
Please,
tell
please
them to
come
leave.
Say
Tell them they can never
Get out
leave.
of here. You're not welcome anymore until 8 o'clock tomorrow.
When you better be here.
Hellfire's like, stop giving us your money. No, the employees, they take our money, but they make good things. Arctic Mini Painting says, I'll take their place, but I won't move. Well, that's not how it works. We're one of those old-fashioned companies where you actually have to come to work.
It's old fashioned now. Companies are really trying to push back against it. Though.
Stop taking Hellfire. Good, yeah. Hellfire, that's perfect. Good redirect. That's pretty funny, actually. What was I doing? Pale
Painting.
yellow. Pale yellow. That's barbaric. We tell them every day that they're not welcome here anymore.
Keep on coming back.
Keep on coming back. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We just had one of our new employees. We do a 60-day review. And I always love because a lot of them really perk up because they don't know what a 60-day review is, right? A lot of places you work don't ever do that. And we do it, and we're like, hey, this is really easy. This is just a way for us to get to feel like, are we meeting your expectations? And let you know, how you can better meet ours and things like that. And they're always pretty easy. And did one today. And he was very pleasantly surprised, that we were like, yeah, we hope you keep coming back. It's great to have you. We're on a pretty cool ship here.
A pretty cool ship? I think we can do better than pretty cool, Jason.
I feel like it's pretty cool.
It's exceptionally cool.
We're just happy all you guys think so.
We definitely do.
Shelby, though, she's getting a little cocky.
She's getting.
She's like, for the
Nice.
next employee lunch, I have a demand.
Uh-oh.
Like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah. To be fair, I agree with her.
I know everybody did. So we're getting Ike's next time.
Ike's. Good old Ike's.
I think it's next week.
Is it really? Oh, it's got to be, isn't it?
I think it's next week for September.
Gosh, it's already almost the end of September.
Isn't that crazy?
What the heck is happening?
Isn't that crazy? No idea where this year went. That we're about to be in Q4.
Oh
What
my
the
gosh, yeah.
balls?
Man, I moved here in March. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's silly.
It's like I've almost been here for 7 months. How ridiculous is that? Like 96 days until Christmas. Oh my gosh.
Just don't.
Don't, yeah.
Just stop.
I don't even want to think about how fast that's going to be coming up.
God, I don't want to think about tax time.
Oh, me neither.
Jump to pale yellow, just to give the punch we need to replicate our shine on our metal.
Good old cold gold non-metallic metal.
I'm only using greens.
I know. Makes it very cold.
I don't know what it is yet. I'm not done. These were kind of be my mid-tone colors, but I thought I'd take it up to pale yellow and then maybe wash it back down and then bring it all back up and see how that works. Wash it with a brown
Well, that might be interesting.
and then work it back up with yellows, letting all the greens be my undertones. Kind of my thought process. I don't know if it's gonna work, but you never know until you try. I've lost my paint. Oh, there it is. Palette's a disaster, people.
You're telling me.
I was supposed to put it in the freaking water over the weekend. We even talked about this last week.
You want me to remind you this week?
You know what I didn't do? Put my palette in the water.
Hi. It's that guy.
I blame Carter.
You know who else we can blame?
Can't
This
blame
kid.
Jacob. It's all salty. How you doing, Jacob? How'd the day finish up?
Typical response for an adequate day.
Slow?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Jade says, "Have a great everyone."
But bye, Jade.
Is that a goodbye, Jade?
I mean, we didn't get a full sentence for the
96
goodbye.
days to get your go bag. We're still telling you should just go ahead and get your go bag now.
Bye, Jade.
What are you laughing at over there?
We need both titanium white in 5-gallon pails.
Sounds right.
How much do you think that would be?
Price wise?
How many bottles of paint are in of our paint are in 5 gallons?
If you were to do 5 gallons, it would be over $3,500.
Oh my gosh.
It sounds worth it to me.
Is worth, according to Jacob, is worth.
Yeah, I want to paint my house in bold titanium white. Let's go.
We might be able to work a bulk discount. We might be able to get that down to $3,000.
So when I was driving to work today, there was a news story about a truck carrying 5-gallon buckets of paint that got hit and like exploded
Oh no.
onto the road.
Oh no.
And all I could think about was our paint.
Yeah, we never want to get that call, by the way.
Huh?
We never want to get that call.
No.
Hey, you got 80 buckets of some sort of clear medium all over the ground. Oh.
No.
Oh.
Hmm. How's it going over there, Jacob?
Good.
Got any brilliant evening plans?
I might make hamburgers.
That sounds good, actually.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Hamburgers?
Yeah,
Nice.
Still babysitting, right?
pretty much.
House sitting.
I just am seeing now the question about, I heard Pro Acryl White was the best in the market. How much can I buy at a time? I need to paint a wall. Did you see the question about do fluorescent colors lose their intensity quickly?
We're what?
We did not.
Do fluorescent colors lose their intensity quickly?
No. Ours will not.
Yeah.
Most do, yes. That's because of the UV interaction that makes them glow in the dark. So you always got to be careful.
Oh, Chuck and Jade, if I missed it, sorry. Bye.
Yeah, that is called light fast. And it is not just a thing that happens with other fluorescents.
Did you
You have it happen
see
with other
from
colors.
the Tea Terrorist explain to me as Citadel Paints pleb why Pro Acryl is so good?
No, we did not see this question.
Hmm.
Do you guys do anything when I'm not here?
No,
So,
we talk a lot.
I mean, you're the producer. We don't know what to do when you're gone.
I've only done this for like a month. What did
Yeah,
you
well,
do
we've
before
gotten very
me?
used to it very quickly.
It's true.
So it's a great question. As you're coming from other hobby paints, not even just, Citadel or Vallejo or whatever, if you're used to painting with hobby paints, what we would call, model or miniature paints in general, you've been exposed to some things that, in our opinion, create some bad habits. The bulk of that being that the paints, in order to have a good opaque finish, require them to be very thick. And I say very thick, in relation to other things in the world that you might consider to be thick liquids, they're still fairly thin, but in regards to paints, they feel fairly thick. And so we tend to have to thin them more aggressively to get them to flow the way we want to be able to paint on, small miniature surfaces. Pro Acryl is formulated to paint miniatures. It's not made by a company that makes other kinds of paints. It's made in a way from start to finish that was built for painting three-dimensional surfaces with tiny detail. So it lays very flat. It's very matte finish. You can just see by all the models we'll throw out here, right? Just no matter how you decide to paint, right? It has a very good finish. It's very controllable. You can use it any way you want. You can airbrush with it, thin it way down to glaze with it, run it right out of the bottle. You can do whatever you want to do. And that was our goal, is to have a paint that just kind of says yes. What do you want to do with it? It'll do that. And other paints have a very inconsistent usability from bottle to bottle a lot of times. And we really strive to make sure that every bottle of paint you pick up within its capability. So certain paints like yellows, some of the bright yellow green that I was using here, the last bright green that I put on the axe, golden parts. That color is less opaque just because it's inherent to that pigment. It doesn't have a lot of opacity, but we love that color. So if it's a color that we're trying to dial in, the only way you can make a color more opaque is generally to add like white or black to it, and so that changes its hue. And so some paints will not be as opaque as others, but other than that, they all work exactly the same. They feel the same as you're brushing them on. Other than, like I said, for opacity, they cover as well, super matte finish, all of that. So it's really just that usability and consistency, and it just is, the way I described it to somebody the other day who had done a video on YouTube about our paints, is I said that if you could take everything you know about miniature painting and take it and put it to the side and start fresh in your mind and pick up Pro Acryl, the immediate thought you would have as you started to remember how your other paints work is, oh darn, how come I didn't have this when I started? That's the biggest thing we get back from you guys as customers, is a lot of people saying time after time after time after time for the last 5 years since we started making Pro Acryl, is that why wasn't this available when I started painting? Because it just makes painting easier. I'm the first one to admit, I've been painting for 45 years and I'm a lazy painter. I don't want to have to work over here on the palette. I want to work here on the model. So my paint just needs to go on the brush and go on the model, so that I can spend more time doing what I enjoy, which is making the story appear, as opposed to sitting over here having to mix it all and blah, 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 blah. But when I do mix, I'm also lazy. I want it to just mix and be right out of the gates. And so our paints are very versatile in that way. So.
How does Pro Acryl behave when thinned? Can you turn it into a wash or an ink?
They're Gamer Man, by the way. That's great. Thank you. Because your guys' paint got me back into painting after like 15-year break.
Yes.
It just,
Welcome
right?
back.
And so, Nerd, maybe you can speak to that, right? Is it just, you remember what 15 years ago it felt like painting? Did Pro Acryl just make painting just that much easier? It blends better. It gives you better coverage. It has better color fastness with the way you mix it. It doesn't mud out. It still gives you vibrancy. It just fits for what we do.
T-Terrace, they are available in the UK. Check
Through-
that link that we just posted there.
Yep. And in the EU as well. But Element Games in the UK is our primary distributor, but there's a lot of places in and around like Nottingham and the countryside and all over the UK. So
There was more here. About
you heard really good things about P32,
that's
which
what I
had
was
liquid
looking for.
pigments. Well, technically all pigment is it's a weird way to say things. So pigment is dry to start, and then it can be put into dispersions and liquid bases. So
this question from Dapper Walkie. When you did the signature paints, did you mix existing colors or formulate them from the ground up?
ground up.
Is dark magenta just regular Pro Acryl magenta plus darker colors?
No, dark magenta is a single pigment magenta.
Yep.
That's why it's not as opaque as some of the other colors, because it's a single pigment, has more translucence to it. No, all of the colors that we do are ground up formulations. It doesn't mean that as we start, like, if Jordan wants to come up with a color, he may mix mahogany and pale yellow and get a color he really loves and uses a lot, because that's how we generate a lot of our color need in the studio. What do I mix on my palette a lot?
We make
what
stuff
do
that
I
we
find
want.
myself mixing all the time? Payne's gray and khaki, dark blue and khaki.
Yeah,
Right? We need
yeah.
that color because we mix it constantly. It's part of our steel non-metallic workup all the time. So we might start there, but then we'll go back to, we have a color spectrometer. We'll scan that color, get its core component content from a CMYK value, and then we'll go look at pigments, raw pigments we can get, so that we don't have to mix cyan, magenta, yellow, and black and white to get it to that component. You don't want to mix that many colors. A lot of paint companies do that because they're made by companies that make house paint as their principal business. And so their mixing machines just do CMYK. It's easy. You scan a color, it gives you CMYK content, you go through that, you get the color, you mix it, it's great. It doesn't mix well with other colors at that point, right? Because it's got too many pigments in it. So we go back and find the base pigments that really work, and some of those are foundational through a set of about 19 pigments that we use on an ongoing basis that cover a very broad range. You just have to kind of tint, tone, and shade those lightly. Or we go find a specific pigment if it's a color that we can do in a single pigment. A lot of times that's very cost prohibitive, but when we can do it, we do it.
Foxy would like to know, what is your opinion on color shift paints?
Personally, I don't like them. And again, it's because there's too much pigmentation in there. It's not controllable, and it tends to get muddy. And so as a painter, there's two conversations here. As a paint maker, I don't like them because they're not reliable. They gum up real quick. They're very hard to control. They don't provide a really good user experience over a period of time. The first time you crack them open and use them, they're really cool and punchy and can do some really neat effects. They don't have a good shelf life as a paint. Generally speaking, we're talking about material like metallics most of the time. So they have a lot of heavy components. They separate, they're hard to mix back up and get them to work right. There's just a lot of components to them that make them, to me, kind of a special effect paint that exists over in this niche that I don't really enjoy. As a painter, same kind of thing. I like to control light on the model. So you can just see by the way that I'm painting, right? I'm painting all of my reflection on this axe, so that no matter how I turn it, right? The highlight's always going to be at the top or the bottom now, but it's at the top of the axe, right? The light in the room doesn't play much of an aspect on my models. When you look at them, you know where I meant the light to be, because that's how I paint. Color reflect paints kind of hinder that process for me. So I've just never really migrated towards them for things that I've done in the miniature world. I've used them a lot, like on motorcycle tanks and things like that, like pearlescence and really cool wild colors are great in a broader world. Where I'm looking for like a different background color, or I might want to use them if I was doing some weird plinth background for a model, you know, something that was more of that spatial effect, but not on the model itself generally.
Yeah, T-Terrorist, our paint bottles are 22 milliliters, and they include a glass agitator in the bottle with them.
Yep.
T-Terrorist said that they cost a bit more than other paints.
They do.
But per milliliter, they're comparable.
Yeah.
What are its weaknesses for Acryl?
I mean,
It's not available everywhere.
yeah,
Probably
Yeah.
the biggest weakness.
yeah.
I mean, that's you know, just being as objective as, or as,
Well, we make the paint, so
yeah, we're the manufacturer and I
we-
design all the paint. So
we don't just like it. We make it here in this building.
yeah,
So
We make it the way we want it to
objectively-
be used.
it's hard to hear the objectivity so far. You know,
it's hard
it's
to be objective because we make it.
Yeah, you know, it's tougher because we're the manufacturer, and of course we love what we make. But we did seek out to make like the last paint you would ever need if painting miniatures, and we feel like we've succeeded very well in doing so. If there are shortcomings, we don't have a very broad color range when compared to, say, Vallejo, who has 500 colors, right? 700 colors. You know, we right now have 102 total.
102.
Right.
And welcome,
when we're all said
Raiders.
and done, I think our main line will have 96. Right. Who's leaving?
No, we're welcoming Raiders.
We're
we just
welcoming
welcoming
Raiders?
new
Yes.
people. on.
Marco.
Marco, hello. How goes it?
You.
I use Pro Acryl on everything now, and I don't even like Jason.
Dang.
See, even our detractors use our paint.
Wow.
Well, but
Mo.
T-Terrorist,
Mo comes in
though,
here and says he loves me every day, so that's a lie, bold-faced lie. We all think
T-Terrorist,
Jason sucks, but we still buy his paint. That speaks volumes.
yeah.
Oh my.
I'm gonna go home and cry, but I love that you use our paint. so.
T-Terrorist said that's why I figured that we should be able to say what it's bad at, but the thing is that if because we make it, if there was something that we felt was bad, we would fix it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, this stream is testament. We paint on this
Sorry, I
stream
was
5
trying to
days
talk
a
over
week. We
that.
have for 8 years. 5 of those years we've made, well, a little bit longer as we were testing Pro-Acryl coming up to its launch in 2018. We use it in every way possible live on the stream. If people come in and say, hey, I'm having a problem using it on a wet palette, Jordan uses a wet palette and he'll show you how.
Yep.
If people come in and say, hey, I'm having trouble dry brushing with it, we'll dry brush it with it and show you how. I would say if it has a shortcoming, if you're a painter already in the hobby space, the shortcoming would be, and this, honestly, the only thing that pops into mind is that it takes a little bit of step back from the way you paint to
Yes.
get used to the paint and then start forward again, right? Because our paint doesn't need to be thinned as much. So if you are used to using Citadel and thinning it way down, if you do that with our paints, you'll find that you lose opacity quicker because our paint is used more straight from the pot with just a little bit of water on your brush. You don't add water to our paint very often unless you're going for lower opacity for glazing, filtering, airbrushing, whatever, as a technique thing. Whereas a lot of paints you have to thin for consistency, like I said before. You don't thin Pro-Acryl for consistency. It has perfect consistency out of the bottle for just general painting. And then you just add dampness to your brush to change the technique or whatever, wet blending or dry brushing or whatever you're doing, right? So that would be the biggest thing that we get as feedback and what we see as we help people as they are trying to use our paint for the first time. They might
There
be
you
like,
go.
oh my gosh, I can't do this thing I do with this other paint. I'm like,
Nutrimentia.
yes, you can. Just stop thinning it.
Nutrimentia helped you out, T-Terrorist.
Water, T-Terrorist. Yeah. Nutra says pigment can clump if you over thin it. Yeah, any paint will do that. It's just you just generally won't reach that with other paints unless you try really, really hard. The primer can rub off. Our primer is very thin. Yep. Are your products no longer on Wayland Games? I don't think they ever were on Wayland Games, Coxie. I was not aware that they were.
They shouldn't be.
Firestorm Games.
Uh-oh. We missed something. Gary 85295. Are you in Arizona? Said, when the Marco clan shows up, you have to dance an Irish jig with Italian flair. So let's see it.
I've got no idea what that would look like.
He's your man.
It's like a river dance with the...
He happens
with
to be
the-
100% Italian and Irish.
I am neither of those things.
It's a river
He
dance
is a
with
leprechaun.
chef's kiss.
And a gangster.
Jordan,
Huh?
river dance with a chef's kiss. That's Irish and Italian.
Locust says, I'd
The
watch
problem
that.
is you can't see our feet.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able
You
to see my
wouldn't be able
feet.
to see our feet
So lose it a little
for
bit.
dancing, so you'd have to just take his word for it that the Irish jig part was happening.
Gosu's got it. Baby J is an alcoholic pro dancer on the side. Don't let him tell you otherwise. I added the alcoholic part in there just for fun. Maybe I'll get a color or two and try it out. T-Terrace, that's what we tell people, especially if you're coming from being familiar with another paint line. If you want to try Pro-Acryl, grab a color that you either love or hate from other lines and give us a shot.
You don't need to use all that fancy stuff. We just use dirty tap water. to
You know,
thin
I
it.
mean, literally, here's my paint
we live in
cup.
Arizona.
Don't
with
show them that.
terrible
Oh,
water.
so gross.
This is my paint cup. I only add water to it as it dehydrates. I don't ever
Heathen.
change my water.
To be fair, I do the same thing.
Yeah, he yells at me.
A
Okay.
Taranta, but without using the hands. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to Google that.
I still just painted this dirty cup, painted this model. I don't care. I paint.
Yep.
I have taught a lot of people how having your water not be clean is a fantastic way to paint. A lot of people think I'm a nutcase, but
Gary is from Arizona. He said I thought that was drinking water from the faucet.
You don't want to do that in Arizona either.
You have a lot of chalk in your water. That's not good. Morningtide, what is that cup? It's kind of like slime, but you know.
Perfectly cured paint water.
I don't like that.
Marco, I hope you had a great rest of your stream.
See you later, Marco.
Oh, I don't think he's leaving. Is he?
Oh, that sounded like a goodbye.
No,
No, thanks for hanging out.
I don't think he's leaving.
No, your response sounded like he said he was leaving, and I didn't.
Oh,
Years
no,
has
no, no,
that
no, no, I'm
water
just-
been there?
How many years? I mean, we do clean it every now and then.
I clean it out for him a lot.
it's.
I'm like,
yeah.
hey, do you need that to get cleaned out? And
It
he's like,
gets
Well, it
clean
usually
whenever Baby
just
J gets sick of looking at it, I
evaporates.
think.
So it evaporates, and then he runs out, and at that point you dump it out and fill it
Correct.
back up.
When it
I had to fill mine
evaporates
out,
down
too.
to a level that it's just sludge, I clean it out
Yeah.
and do something else with it. But yeah, you don't got to have clean water. I
Well,
get a kick out of people saying they use distilled water. I'm like, why in the world are you buying special water to paint with? And I'll give you my story here, chat, so that everybody can think I'm a.
Well, and this might, Law Dog is saying I might have missed that. How does dirty paint water help?
So
maybe this is
okay.
the
So
answer.
what dirty paint water is just is all the pigment that you've used on a project, right? So I've talked a lot about what I call a project neutral. Okay. So what I mean by that is a project neutral point. So, and that is the blending, the mud color, if you would, of every color you've used on a project. So if I were to take all the colors I've used on her so far and all these base coats and sketching that I've done, right? If I were to take it all and mix it into a puddle, what would I get? I'd get mud. It would be kind of a greenish brown, right? Because it's got the brightest, most poignant colors in this are the bright greens, right? So the project neutral becomes a mud color that you can use as your tint, tone, and shade base for your entire project. And it will bring all of your colors together in a way that works
It's
super,
harmony
super
in
well.
the
Some
cup.
people call it the mother color. I saw some people do a video on it calling it the mother color. This is not a term I know of. I'm not a trained artist. I just paint.
Marco just said it's literally free harmony in a cup.
It's what?
Free harmony in a
Yeah.
cup.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And I'll show you in just a second.
It is yards, Tony.
Right. So let me show you what happens if I just get a piece of palette paper out. Marco, as a trained professional, will appreciate this. Where is the palette again? Is it over here?
you just had it the other day.
I did, but I feel like somebody stole it from me.
Wasn't me.
It had to be you.
It had to be me.
I feel like
Dry palette?
Gabe.
Yes.
Oh, I'm
paper?
down for blaming Gabe.
The paper palette?
Yeah.
Palette paper? I feel like Gabe came and took it
I feel
for
like
something.
Gabe stole my palette paper. This resonates with me. So
And
Gabe,
he's not here.
he left. Rat bastard.
He went home.
All right, we're gonna have to use this piece that's just randomly floating around. I feel like he stole my palette paper for something. I remember him saying he did. All right, let's zoom out. Can you take me to a single painter?
Yep.
Please. Please. So one of the biggest problems I say problem, one of the things you might notice with your painting as you go through, especially if you're doing a colorful palette and those colors are very contrasting colors, is that you have them stand out and they provide too much visual jarring contrast on the palette of the model, the composition we'll call it, right? So the full story of the model, in cases where you're not painting a harlequin or some sort of clown suit, where you're really going for colorful splotches, disco ball style. There are some models where you would do that on purpose because it's the story, right? But a lot of models, we still want to use a lot of colors. We don't want to necessarily paint it in all drabs like military style painting where you just use greens and browns and various tints, tones, and shades. And at the end of it, it looks kind of muddy. That's a great story to tell if you're doing historical World War II tank in the mud, right? But for a lot of what we do in fantasy and sci-fi, we want to bring vibrant colors to the forefront, but we also have to have them live in concert with the whole composition so that those vibrant colors don't look like something completely jarring, like you spilled grape juice on your shirt kind of a thing, right? You want to be able to make sure that all of this fits together and flows and looks like it's on the same model, as opposed to being a bunch of different pieces you painted different colors. Make sense? So let's just take some of the colors that I've used on her so far. So I've used a lot of Payne's Gray. What are you laughing over there?
I'm laughing at Hellfire. Hellfire was enjoying Jacob and
Yeah,
was
he
talking to
asked where I
Jacob,
went.
and now he's very disappointed because Jacob's gone
I'm
for the
still
moment. He said, "What is life now? Never forget." I'm off for a cry. Oh, don't leave. There, he's right there. He's right there. He's still here.
We've used some ivories. We've used a bunch of yellow greens. I'm not going to put every color, but I'm just going to get the principal color families that we've used here, right? We've used a bunch of dark golden brown for her hair, right? What else do we have on there? Payne's Gray. We've used some bright grays. That's pretty much already taken care of here, though. Warm brown is a good one. Has a lot of reds in it. Reddish orange tones.
Real quick, we had a question. What is the Pro Acryl equivalent to scab red?
Scab red?
Here, I have a picture
Burnt
of
red,
it.
maybe?
Maybe burnt red?
I was thinking burnt red or dark burgundy.
Mahogany, maybe? Depends on how dark it is. I don't know other paint
can show you
lines
a
names,
picture
I
of
gotta
it.
be honest with you. I don't make our paint based on what other people do.
Go, Sue.
Mahogany
Have a
is
good
the
night.
principal color that's on.
Paint rack.
Dark burgundy. Yeah, dark burgundy because that's got a little bit more blue.
Paint rack app.
But yeah,
Is your
paint rack's a great one
friend.
to go to. Right. So that's just a good representation of the colors that I have on here. There's also let's put some faded ultramarine in there because we did do a lot with faded ultramarine as well. So you can see that on the palette when you do this, it's like, what the hell are you doing, Jason? Painting a model in these colors, right? But you got to remember, the water in your cup doesn't care about the visual sense of the model. That's just the leftover pigment as you clean your brush. So it's an amalgam of everything you've used, whether it makes visual sense or not. So if we take a little spot of each of these colors, it's going to be a little out of focus because it's not the same frame as a model would be, right? But if we take all of this, you'll get the gist, right? Take all this and mix it up in the middle. In semi-equal amounts here because I'm doing it with a brush, so I can't really ever tell. Okay, so there. Right, boom. That's our palette neutral. Okay, it's a neat warm gray, actually. Right, looks a lot like brown gray. Okay, so there you go. Now you have a color mix. Now the nice thing is, now take and use this color, and you can use this color to tint all of these other tones that you have going on here, right? So look at that. You get really usable color by taking this mud that everybody go, oh, I just made mud. Yeah, but look at how that mud reacts to every color that is a component part of it. It gives you a really nice tone, actually. Right? I'm probably intermixing a lot of these too much. Right? But you can wind up with variations that give you good shadow colors, good accent colors for every single color in there. Here, let's redo that ivory because it had too much blue from the previous mix in it. Right? If we do this ivory up here.
All right, now Marco is bidding us adieu.
Goodbye,
Have a great night.
All right, Marco, take it easy.
Thank you again for the
Adieu.
raid.
Thank
See
you
next
for the
time.
raid. We will see you soon.
And then when you take a color like black, right? Let's just take a shade color, just pure black.
And other questions that are coming in, we'll get to after Jason's done.
Yeah,
with
let me do
demo.
this explanation
Yep.
here real quick. Right? If I grab black and I shade our project neutral, so I darken that color up, now you can imagine how I've made a color that if I make black with this and then come over to these colors, now I can make shade colors of them all that stay on hue, right, and look very good. And what I've done here, just by using this principal mud color, I get a mid-tone for this color, and then making a shade, and I get a shade for it, and so you can see how you can make your highlights and shades all come together. Now, generally, we're not using it that way, because you have to mix all these colors. But what it does is this is the color that's in your cup all the time, all right? And so this color in your cup, as you add it to your other paints, can desaturate them if you use a lot of it, but that's not what we're doing. We just have little bits of it, and what it does is it makes sure that each of these colors has got a little bit of that in it as we paint, and it pulls them all together visually on the model in imperceptible ways. If you were to really, look at it as it's happening, but at the end of the day, when you finish your composition, the model feels like it's supposed to all be together, and it's not some hoodoo voodoo stuff. That's reality. And a lot of painters will do that. Oil painters will have that project neutral on their palette all the time, right? Where they've mixed all their colors in together, and they'll grab a little bit of it, tint, tone, and shade that color, and use it as their shade and highlight mixer for all of the colors in the painting, so to speak. And it works very well. So there you go. That's why I use my mud water.
Morning Tide said, great demo. Thanks, Jason. I learn new stuff every stream. You guys rock.
So don't be afraid of dirty water. It still thins your paint. I mean, you could have some crazy Lansing or what's that place in Michigan that has the
Flint.
bad water?
Flint.
You could have some bad water that causes problems with your painting because it's too hard mineral wise and you may have to use distilled water. But outside of that, I don't ever worry about it.
Ours is not that bad either.
Arizona water's pretty bad.
And T-Terrorist, I mean, I get your point. The thing about our paint, though, and the fact that we do this live stream every day and that we're involved in our Discord community is that when people find that, okay, my experience with Pro Acryl is different than my experience with X, Y, or Z paint, how can I make it work? They have that direct access to us where we can help them see not only like how to what's the word I'm thinking of?
Replicate.
How to make it work, but like, yeah. You have the ability to come into and ask questions of the people who actually make the product.
Yeah.
So the things that you might say are a flaw, we're saying no, and here's why. Monday through 5 days a week. We take the weekends off.
Yeah, we exclusively
But
use our
yes.
paints here. And we can answer any questions that you have about them. Any concerns, any issues that you're having with your paint. Takes a little bit of time to get used to because like we talked about it, you have to approach it a little differently, but once you figure that out, it is smooth sailing. And I think the vast majority of people in here, if not all of them, will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, the bulk of our line is super matte finish. We have, with the advent of the latest Signature Series paints, added some satin and gloss colors to the range purposefully because of their use. But our typical colors are ultra matte, super matte.
Super matte.
Morning Tide, thank you. That means so much to us.
Can Baby J compare it to P3?
I mean, I can talk to you about the differences. P3 is all satin. They don't have any hyper matte paints at all. Every single one of the P3 paints in the P3 line is by nature satin.
What was the question about the transparent?
The line is also larger. We here at Monument have a broader range and selection of colors than exist in the P3 line.
Down?
There's
Right here?
a fluidity to our paint as well that P3 doesn't have. Tends to be a little bit more either thicker or thinner depending on which color you're looking at.
I don't know that this is specifically about transparency. Is it easy to make the layers thin enough to show the underlayer through for shading?
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. We even make a magical medium specifically for that. This is our miracle glaze and wash medium, which you can mix into any paint to add a little bit more transparency to it. I mean, I can explain the differences without getting in trouble.
I'm not seeing a question about transparency. Not transparent paints. Okay, I'm sorry. When I see transparent, my mind immediately goes to the transparent paints.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yes. So that was the question.
What was this question?
The one we just had about the
okay.
thinning it. Yeah. The face on the bus did have a good amount of underpainting.
Tons. Yeah.
Looked kind of crazy. And T-Terrorist, the reason we do this stream is to answer questions like
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Mhm.
So don't,
No, that's what
you're
we're
not
for.
being annoying.
No, we love
do
this.
general painting questions, product specific questions. Never be afraid to ask. If you've got something you're working on as a project and you're like, hey, I'm having problems glazing, doesn't have to be with our paint. Our goal with this stream for the last 8 years has been to make sure that people feel more confident with picking up a brush and touching models with it. That sounds weird to say out loud, but that's the case.
But we do also absolutely believe that we make the best paint out there. So
Yep.
We wouldn't do it if we didn't.
We will say that every time.
Yeah, if we have something that we would consider a flaw, then we would be fixing it. That's
Well,
kind of the whole reason it's so
to the
difficult,
point
so.
that the T-terrorist made, that there's not always a fix. He said, I don't know, I always just generically go to he, but said that sometimes you have to compromise or something like that. I can't remember the exact words, but
Well, those things are
because
general
I
choices,
said the
right?
same thing, that if we find that there's something that we don't like about it or that we hear about it, we're going to do what we can to fix it.
Right. And a lot of those things that are choices are things that we believe make the paint a better paint to work with.
What's the next best paint? Who's the biggest competitor? I don't know.
I mean, I've used damn near everything.
Yeah, I pretty much have
Everything
too.
prior to us making Acryl, I've painted with. After us making Acryl, I haven't tried anything.
I mean, I've been in the industry painting studio miniatures for companies for, 4 or 5 years now, 5 years now. And before being here, and I've used pretty much everything during that time. So, and now I just use Procryl. All I use.
That's because we chain him down and beat him if he doesn't.
I'm still able to achieve really good results. So I mean,
Kyra,
Works out for
do you
me.
find the silver a little too bright? It's bright. Kyra Asylum said, I agree, that they agree with me that we have the best paints, with one exception. Silver is a bit odd. Dark silver and metallic medium seems to be giving a better result. So, and my question back was, is the silver too bright?
got
Because
it.
it's pretty bright.
Just remember the silver is like a great vessel for you to do other things with. Like it's a great color, but you can also modulate that color a lot by adding transparent paints into it, which is what I did a lot on like the silver here, which is why it has that kind of bluish hue to it.
Chair guy's scratching a lot.
I got like a bunch of mosquito bites today.
This is Jacob.
It's
Yeah, I feel
mosquito
that.
season.
Chair guy.
We
I love
only
it.
allow the J names to come in and sit in the chairs.
I ate too much paint.
Ate too much paint.
That's the actual reason, but they won't let me say it. No, there's a bunch of mosquitoes here in Arizona right now.
It does require a lot of shaking, for sure. The metallics do. Got bit on your feet in hard to scratch areas.
I haven't been talking because they've been doing a lot of informational stuff and not just random whatever like we usually talk about.
Jacob's not one who talks just to hear himself talk.
Wait, what?
It's got to be important
You
stuff.
could have fooled me.
Well,
Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
at work, when in a work situation. Maybe at lunch he talks a lot, but
Talks a lot of smack.
Just to
That's-
you.
Wow.
There's
Tell me-
like 2 people and you're one of them, Jordan.
That's true. That's true. To be fair, I deserve it.
Zachariah, that is a great way to look at it. Zachariah said, I've never thought of it as what's the best paint. Instead, I think of it as what's the right paint for the particular technique I'm using.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tools. You'll hear us say, we've had a lot of specific questions from T here asking, like, what do you think the pros and cons of the paint you make are? So obviously we're very opinionated on that because it's our paint. But the reality is, like is being said right now, you are using a tool, and tools are very subjective for a lot of their use. And what I mean by that is, like, we can both buy a hammer. I can buy a Craftsman, you can buy a Snap-on or a Harbor Freight. We can still go use that hammer to do the exact same task, and at the end of the day, we can both say I have the best hammer, right? Because it has to do with your skill with that particular tool, right? If you've been using hammers for 100 years and you're just a master hammerer, right? Then all of a sudden it probably means less the hammer that's in your hand, because it becomes more about your experience with said hammer, because you probably had to use and make do with everything. So you can say, yeah, it's an okay hammer. And somebody else can be like, that's the best damn hammer I've ever used. What do you mean it's just okay? And so you get into that subjectivity range where it comes down to a person's skill, confidence, right? And familiarity with that tool. And so paints are that way, brushes are that way. Everything that we do, that especially in a dexterity, hand-eye coordination realm, is going to fall victim to that to some extent. Because you'll have people that'll be like, hey, I'll never touch Pro Acryl because I've been happy with my paint. It's worked for me forever. And you can't argue with that person. You can't say that Pro Acryl's better than whatever paint they're using, because those are subjective terms, and good, better, best means nothing, right? Because you can say it's better because it does this, and we would all go, who does that? Well, obviously that person does, and it worked great for them. So never be afraid to use what you're doing. Like I always say, 100% of the time is that if it gets you to the end of a project and you're happy with the results, keep doing it, right? Yep. A lot of people say, hey, what should I do? I want to try some Pro Acryl. I'm always like I said earlier, try the paints you love the most or hate the most when using what your current setup is, right? And if you like the way Pro Acryl works, be ready, because all of our paints will work that same way, right? And so a lot of people have been like, hey, I picked up a bottle of old titanium white because everybody said it's the best white ever. Oh my God, it changed my life. Are all your paints that way? And we'll sit down at shows and say, try it. And we bring little Space Marine models that wind up looking like clown suits when we're done. Yep. They look even more like clown suits now because he's painted them in our fluorescent colors.
You want me to
but we bring our fan painted Space Marines to all the shows. And we let you just paint with it over black primer, and people are always astounded. Yeah, he's testing all of our upcoming fluorescent paints in various ways, and holy, amazing, like super bright. Oh, he did the gloss varnish on the back of that guy. Yeah. So it's definitely, I don't want to say 50-50, right? But it definitely has a lot to do with what you're comfortable with, and if you're comfortable with what you're doing, why change? You know, we would love for everybody in the world to use Pro Acryl. But we also understand that if you have something that you do in a way that you do it, you've been doing it for a long time, and you get something new, sometimes it upsets your process and doesn't feel as good, doesn't give you the same results. And so don't fight it just to say you got something new. Yeah, right? Bright Boys. 25-pound sledge fixes anything.
T. Terrace said, so what is Chair Guy's role? Jacob's role.
Jacob is one of the fulfillment group that handles our distributor orders.
Distribution fulfillment coordinator.
Jacob's the reason you have product in the UK.
That is, yep.
That's true.
Jacob makes sure that all of the international distributor orders get put together and palleted up and picked up and put on trucks and flown overseas. So I love how my watch says it's time to stand.
It doesn't know. Mine tells me that in the middle of the night.
I've been standing for coming up on 3 hours now, watch.
Yes, Russian spy.
He's also
Jacob
a Russian
is in the
spy.
chair. Jacob's the one in the chair.
If there is back-breaking work here, it is usually me that's doing it.
Yes.
That is true.
That doesn't happen here.
Jacob has also taken lead on cushion testing.
Yeah.
These are comfy chairs.
He
Jacob
sits in them more than everybody else.
He knows where the most comfortable spot in the office is, and it's right there in one of those two chairs.
It is.
Taste the paint water to ensure proper solubility.
Chair guy. I love how you've just become chair guy.
I keep saying Jacob. They continue chair guy.
He's just chair guy now. Tomorrow it'll be like, where's chair guy?
I saw the commercial. There's backbreaking work.
He's working.
Which commercial?
Sour Beef says, what does everyone do in their free time? What is this free time you speak of?
Yeah, we don't have that.
I spend it sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
Chair guy sits in the chair.
Oh, the one where Jason walks through the building?
Oh, yeah.
We play Commander.
Jacob's in that commercial.
Yeah.
Lately we've been playing Magic. A lot of us have been playing Commander. We did
a lot.
We did that Saturday for 10 hours.
For 10 hours, yeah. Wild.
I pet a lot of my dog's belly.
Yeah.
Watch Jen's horrible television with her.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been playing video games like Star Sector and Noida and Vampire Survivors.
Vampire Survivor.
My 3 favorite games, maybe of all time. They're climbing up in the ranks very slowly, and I think that altogether we figured out they cost like $34.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Tea-terraced acrylic paints. No, they're non-toxic, but don't eat them.
Don't eat the bait. Don't eat the bait.
edible. I do models, but I'm bad at painting, so you'll never see me paint on stream.
He is not bad at painting.
He just doesn't like to paint.
He just doesn't like doing it.
I don't like painting.
Oh, and someone earlier asked if I paint or when I'm gonna paint, and that I don't know that answer. But I do paint, but I don't know when I'm going to.
Jen is the best painter in the building. Let me show you.
That's why I don't like to paint too often, because I don't like to show off.
You're gonna show us all up?
Yeah, I don't wanna make these guys look bad, because I know that men's egos can't really handle that. Well, his name is Jacob, so we can call him Jacob, and he fits right in without having to change
It's
it.
my regular name.
Good old scale jail.
Yeah, I had scale gel too.
She never bitched once about hers, though.
I probably did though.
I'm gonna be honest. I had more scales. You want to see how many more scales I had?
You
Because I
didn't
can
do
show
them all
you.
by hand in so many colors, though.
Yeah, but look at all the colors in mine. Yours is
I
just
have-
green.
This
Jen,
is
I had a lot
all-
of colors in mine
This is
too.
all 100% by hand, no airbrush.
No airbrush. I don't airbrush very
Jen
often. I
doesn't-
prime airbrush. I
Jen's
airbrush my
very
primer.
very scared of the airbrush, but this is Jen. Jen is the most amazing painter in the building, who never paints. It takes her like 6 months to remember how every time she
I
wants
do. I get up there and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
to. It's so good. It's so good. It is. It's like starting fresh. It's like your first day painting
Yeah.
because you don't paint for such big periods
Yeah.
of time.
Oh,
That's a
speaking
Crypt
of,
Shadow. That you got it. You got it right. It's Lisa Frank.
hey Jason.
Sir.
Speaking of who's the best and challenges and fun things to do on stream,
Uh-huh.
I think we should do another heads up challenge with a model that I know you want to paint really bad, and I also really want to paint really bad.
What's that?
The lion,
The lion?
Lionel Johnson.
Lionel Johnson.
I'll be here next week. Where's yours?
I can probably make something happen.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'll be able
Before
to make
the
it
sun
happen.
burns out?
Wow.
They're very hard to get.
I know.
Yeah, mine will be here this next week. I don't know when I'll start painting it, but yeah.
That would
I-
be fun. We've been talking about doing it again.
Coxie,
Lion the Johnson.
not necessarily always dark blue or purple, but I always start with dark and go up. Yes, because I learned from Jason.
Because I learned from Jason.
She did.
He taught me how to paint like 5 years ago.
It's been longer than that, hasn't it?
Has it? 6, maybe?
I don't
7?
remember now.
Maybe 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like it seems like.
Been a while.
How long have we been together? It's been a long time ago.
Arctic Mini Painting Studio, thank you. I really enjoy painting when I have a chance to do it. I do want to paint one of the flat busties though. I like that.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I need to do this shoulder because that's keeping the entire. I'm still in just base coats and sketching, but I'm digging it.
Tim, what are we saving for the anniversary of Baby J?
What?
I don't know. Said you guys should save that for the anniversary of Baby J starting.
That sounds like a long time to wait to paint that model.
Which one?
The lion.
Oh. Oh, is that what that was about?
March? Did you start in March or April?
March. Well,
Yeah, basically end of March
end of March.
because his first real work
Adepticon.
was going to Adepticon.
Yeah. And we didn't start our challenge.
Arctic Mini Pig
until-
says as soon as he lasts that long, yeah, he's treading thin ice, man.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness.
The ritual sacrifice.
The violence
T-Terror, see you later.
is my soul.
I think I've hit a brick wall with one of your models, is unsure what to do next, so I think it's time to paint the next one. I feel your pain.
That's what I do.
That's the great thing about our hobby. You run into some not having a muse for the model you're working on, go paint another one. Very simple. Habitual bus thrower underer.
Yep,
That's
that
his
is me.
title. That's his title.
That is
we need
me.
to get him one of those desk plaques.
I wouldn't mind having one of those. Let everybody before me know.
Thor's Paw says, if you're looking for another employee with a J in their name for the other chair, let me know. I love how people are now like, I look good in a comfy chair. That's your interview.
We've got Jabriel. He's just not here.
T-terrorist.
Yeah, Jabe left. I'll see
Have a
Jabe in a
good
minute. He's
night.
on a 6 o'clock freaking call with me.
Davis?
Yeah,
Oh.
he has to be on that. Well, he doesn't have to. I told him he didn't need to be on the call because it's after hours, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'll be there. Gabe is enthusiastic.
He loves work.
It's not a pile of shame. It's a pile of opportunity. Opportunistic sidestepping. I like that.
Thor's Paw is going to be the maintenance guy for the new office soft serve machine.
Shh, you're not supposed to let Jen know. I told you to email me behind the scenes.
We're getting a soft serve machine?
And a popcorn machine. And a soda machine. We're basically opening up
Theater.
an old style. What the heck is that?
Yeah, that's what I looked up and I was like,
What?
Scroll back up and answer your question.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm like, we just both looked at the screen as you were
Yeah.
scrolling through, and I go,
Like, what the
What
heck?
is Jen doing over there on the other
This
screen?
is what happens when I go to following. I normally go to Warhammer. You're following that person. Oh, that's right. It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Girl theaters. Archimedes, hold on, I may move now. He said he wouldn't move before, but now. Notice how that brown wash, I haven't talked about it since we put it on at the beginning of the show, but look at
Oh,
how the
looks so
brown wash
good.
smoothed out the hair. All the texture that I did in the hair. Our washes are just too good.
Yes, they are.
Using them as a blending tool is spectacular, right? Because I just did that hair really, really rough. And all of the yellow ochre I basically just smacked on there. But you put the brown wash on, and it knocks it into a more dirty blonde, but it smooths all that out and lets you come back into where now you can just do specific highlights. Where painting hair sometimes is kind of a hurdle for people because they feel like they got to paint the strands of hair from the start. Like you start with your base coats, and then your next color you start painting individual strands of hair. You don't have to, right? As long as you have a good out for your blending at the end, which the brown wash did a really good job of. And then I can start the detailing.
Arctic, we have said, we've made this very clear. Lad paint will be released sometime during
2073.
Q4 2073.
I need to put it on the calendar.
Yes, put it on your calendar. Start your countdown.
I'm gonna laugh because I'm gonna put it on the calendar and then somebody's gonna show up.
I love how
2077.
Deathspawn says it's 2 minutes to 5, and Tim says don't remind him. They may go longer. They may go longer.
I got food to go make.
Food to go make.
Hmm.
I got a dog belly to rub.
That's a good belly. That's a good belly. I have a meeting at 6. So, there's that. But it is time to quit. Pass you off. Create this raid. Get you over to somebody else to take you through the rest of your evening for some more hobby goodness.
Hang on for
I'm
a
almost
little next level
done.
painting. Some icy ass highlights.
Done did a lot of work today. Not really, but I feel more accomplished than yesterday for sure.
I'm pretty much done.
Now you're just bragging.
Yep. I do that sometimes.
What color is brown wash made out of? Brown?
Brown.
It's its own color, actually. It started as a base of like black brown, and then we tinted it up from there. So it's
Yo, dog, Candy Boucher here.
not quite as dirty as that, but it's not as warm as like an Agrax. It's kind of an in between. it's a good neutral brown wash, so that it'll inherit whatever you put it over. Put it over a more neutral or cooler brown, it'll inherit that. It won't, like our transparent brown is very warm brown, so when you put it over the top of something, you definitely increase the warmth of whatever you do. All right, so we're out of here. Thank you for
Bye.
hanging out with us. For all of you that might be new coming over from the marker raid, thank you for hanging out with us. Please hit that follow button. We do stream 5 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Like tomorrow coming up, we do the 12 noon Pacific time to 2 p.m. hobby lunch. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, like today, we start at that 2 p.m. slot and go till 5. But it gives you 5 chances to catch up with us during the week. So we'd love to see you back, spend some more time with us.
Good hustle, chair guy.
We love y'all.
Jen threw up all of the links. That's a horrible way to say that.
Yeah,
And
doesn't
then you
sound
can, but you can check us on the Discord. Check the store out if you want to pick up some Monument Pro Acryl paints. Give them a try. Some of our brushes that are in stock, believe it or not. And also the FLGS. You can find a reseller, hopefully closer to you. Go support your local FLGS for all the good they do for the community. And hang tight. Show some love in the chat we wind up in. And we'll catch you back here tomorrow. Adios, gang. Have a great evening.
See you, everyone.
See you, chair guy.
Good night, Gracie.